Y'all are so funny.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. How you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Is it a good day?
A little tired, but it's okay.
Little tired. I could dig it. I could dig it. We got our folks that are checking us, that are checking in, and they're letting me know that we had an issue with the sound a minute ago. But I think, at least I hope, we got it cleared up. Well, at least I'm working on it. Let's go ahead and get our salutations in. Yeah, there it is.
Check 1 2.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're back up now. Steph B, how you doing?
Cannot complain. Not
Yeah.
gonna complain. Nobody wants to hear
Nah, well,
it.
we'll listen, and thank you. All right, let me get these salutations in, especially to the folks letting us know that they couldn't hear us. Shout out to my brother Mike in New York City, and let me know when you're around, and we will get together when you film here. Trey Arts is saying peace. Uncle H is saying peace. Our brother Bobby is saying peace to Steph, and he is saying peace to his brothers. That is us, and so. Yeah, I think we're good now. I think our sound is good. I think we are good. So, yeah, we're good. Everybody doing all right? I think we dragging. I know I'm dragging y'all. Yeah,
It is a for show.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah, yeah.
I'm looking for the three of us to create energy in this space so that
So
we can
Y'all got
vibe
a
up.
good 1.5 hours. From
yeah,
me.
so
You
let me
make it happen.
let's let them in on a little secret, right? So I came in. John said, "It's Monday." I said, didn't even verbalize, just shook my head. Yeah. And whatnot. And I could look at him and see that his Monday was Monday. And then Steph walked in and Steph said, Monday's Monday. Yeah. So this is one of those times, y'all, where, and then of course the system was Mondaying.
Oh man.
Yeah, because the audio wasn't working right. Took me a minute to get that figured out. But anyway, I think it is time for us to kind of form together like Voltron. Like everybody put your right fist in, put your right fist in. Yeah, we want the triplets power activate. Yeah. And you know how to stop
This
it.
is
With
when
Marcus
you know
Chase.
you do real grown up stuff all day long.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like you just,
Yeah.
rolled out of bed 20 minutes in advance and
Yeah.
were like, let me do it.
Well,
let me do a radio
listen,
show. Let
let
me
me-
podcast.
Yeah.
No, real stuff happens
This
all day
might
long.
be my issue too. I've been on the phone most of the morning because I'm like kind of coming out of retirement a little bit to do some work in finance, and it's like being on the phone dealing with people talking about money that they don't got
Yeah.
is not something that you do lightly. It takes a lot of energy.
Yes.
It takes a lot of energy.
Well, I tell you
Talking
what.
all day on the phone anyway.
Yeah.
For any reason, and then having to speak after. It's
And
fatigue.
people get in their feelings with me because what I do outside of here requires me to do a lot of peopling, like a lot of peopling on the phone and in person. And then we come together. Obviously, this is the candy store, but don't be mad at me when I don't want to talk on the phone.
Yeah,
Don't be mad at me when text me, man.
I hate
don't
texting.
be yeah. And
I
then
prefer text.
I know people who don't like the text, and the reality is I'm too old to care about that.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like if
people are
if,
like, "Oh, I haven't heard from you."
I
I'm
got
alive. I'm
people
not dead.
who are annoyed with me
Text
right
me.
now because I would rather text. And I'm like this. I'm transparently telling you that if you just call me, I might watch the phone ring. I might watch the phone ring.
90% of the time.
I just don't. And depending on who you are, I might pick up on the first ring, with respect. My mama, my pops.
Agreed.
So
there are less people, not on one hand, but definitely less than on two, who get a pickup from me.
Yeah.
Mostly everybody rings out. Mostly
I
everybody.
would say that.
Yeah,
I would say, yeah.
Don't take it
at a
personal.
certain time of day, and depending on what day it is, my phone is always scheduled to go to a do not disturb at a certain point. And I have specific numbers that are programmed that even if it's in a do not disturb, they can still get through. My daughter, my son, their dad.
Mama
because,
is like that. I never saw anybody do that until I saw mama do it. Because I don't even know if I have that feature. I think it's an iPhone thing.
Yeah. Gen Z will teach you. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Pay attention to them.
Yeah.
Because how they feel about their time is hilarious.
That's
to me.
because
These are the same kids that would call you at work 3 times and be like, you didn't answer.
Yeah.
But if I call my daughter at work and get an answer, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because usually there will be she treats me like the kid that's always in trouble at school.
Yeah.
And I call her at work. I know she sees my call. She is not answering my
Yeah.
call. She will call me right after work.
Yeah.
And she will tell me how busy it was. But
Yeah.
if I did that when I was mothering,
No way.
oh, listen, if I do it now,
There's
if
no
I
way.
don't answer, she'll send a meme or something that's like, for
Excuse me.
real?
You
You
know,
ain't answering?
you know what cracks me up with like the and there's some comments here. I'm gonna read your comments. I see y'all, and then I'm gonna shift us to the next thing. Right. What trips me out with technology in 2023, like people actually have the nerve to call you out the blue at random, and you could be doing anything else, and have the nerve to be in their feelings when you don't pick up the phone. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? I could be doing anything. We got technology now. It's not like 1982 when, you know, to put someone on this, undisturbed or whatever, you got to take the phone off the hook. Like today, like please, people don't
unplug
take
it
it
off the
or
wall.
unplug it, right? Please don't take it personal. But anxiety is so real. And sometimes folks just don't have it in the moment. And you don't get to be in your feelings because someone else ain't got it, man.
Yeah. As my daughter says,
Hey,
they don't
look.
have the spoons.
Yeah,
That's the
man.
term. I don't have the
I ain't,
spoons.
I ain't got
today.
the spoons. Let me get a couple of these comments in. Our brother Barry Farmer Morning Show is checking us out. 101 The
Barry.
Fam, syndicated, our brother. Legacy Internet Radio alumni, our sister, the career cheerleader, Cara Presley, is checking us out.
Successful.
She says, my capacity is just not there, especially since COVID. I have no need to talk unless I really have something to say. My intentionality is different. Absolutely, 100% agree. Barry says, I didn't know our phones could do that.
Yeah, if you have
Yes.
an iPhone, it can do that.
Barry's
very
agreeing with me.
easily,
It's like, hey,
Barry.
look, and the people
I'll
who
send
know
you a
you,
little screen record so you can do it.
people that know you, you're gonna have to just know me. But if you get in your feelings about not picking up the phone, me not picking up the phone, then you clearly don't know me enough for me to be in my feelings about you being in yours. My best friend in the world, my brother, the pretty boy Damon, is checking us out. Good evening, family. Salutations to my brother, and a special good evening to the beautiful bow wearing, lovely, intelligent, and talented Steph B. Miss y'all.
I'm blushing.
Yeah. That would be $15.
Thank you, Damon.
I'll cash app you that money.
Yes,
later.
the way you. Yeah,
I typed
know
it for
y'all
him.
work.
I typed it for him. No, I didn't. That's
you were
him.
his Cyrano.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Bergerac.
that. Got it. The
Since-
Bergerac going on.
Since we talking about like how we started off in a bad mood, or not a bad mood,
Bad
but just a little bit lower energy, let's have our first conversation be high energy. Bucket list. There's the ultimate bucket list story that we're gonna lead with. We're gonna lead with the video of it.
You know
and
what?
Then, and then we go, and
I'm
then we
so
go, and then we
mad
go,
that y'all are
and then
doing
we go,
this.
and then we gonna talk about it.
I
This
get
now, this is a
embarrassment.
video. The video's a hair under 3 minutes,
Oh my
but
God,
I
y'all,
promise
I
you,
can't do
you'll thank me later. Here we
Marcus,
go.
please.
Grammy Award nominated rapper and artist Flav.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red flare, the bombs burn flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star spangled banner yet wave? Or the land of the free and the home of the brave, of the brave, of the brave.
Oh, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Yeah, boy. Come on,
Repping
bro.
Long
Come
Island to
on,
the
man.
fullest,
Come,
man.
come on, come on, y'all. Come on, man. Flavor Flav with national anthem, fulfilling a bucket list item, and going out there and actually trying. Like this dude tried, and hey, look, we can make jokes about how he sounded, but nobody can say that this man didn't try his hardest to fulfill a bucket list item. Yeah, boy, you know what I'm saying? Come on, Flav. Yeah, man. Yeah,
listen,
man. So
There's no
let me get
disrespect to be had on that.
not at all.
Put
Let me
some
get
respect on his name.
let me get these comments in. All right, so Cara says I'm here for Flav and the anthem and in my Flav season. Legacy in that radio alumni. My sister Shayna Latia is checking us out. She says, "Child, I just died when I saw Flavor Flav yesterday." Yeah. Pretty boy said Bucks need to be banished to the D League for this ish right here. Yeah. Legacy in that radio alumni, author Charisma, the dating pool diva. Yeah. She said, "You wrong for this, Marcus J. I couldn't listen the first time, and I'm struggling bad this time. That's why I played it. That's why I played it." Yeah. And hey, look, when I saw that this morning, and then I saw the piece that said that it was a bucket list item for him to do the national anthem, I was like, "Yo, let me take a look." Cause hey, look, I don't got no memory in my life for not loving Flavor Flav. Yo, Bum Rush the show came out. I was 13. I'm be 50 next year. My whole life, I love this dude. I watch Flavor of Love for him. I mean, sort of for him, but you know what I'm saying? So, hey, look, I love the dude. So when I saw him do the national anthem, John, by the way, July is checking us out, and she's got the smile in there. She's saying peace. Peace to you, July. John, what you got on Flav doing the national anthem, man? Come on, bruh.
That's my G. That's my OG.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing but respect. He ain't really hit no bad notes. He did his thing.
Yeah.
He's a musician. People don't really understand that, but he is.
Yeah.
And I liken it to like ODB. People used to make fun of ODB, but ODB never hit a bad note on songs either. He was always in tune.
Yeah.
Singing his heart out, doing what he do. So much respect to Flav. I wish I had it like that where I could arrange to go do something like that. The fact that his name carries enough clout that he can get that done, beautiful. I wish it would have been at the Garden. That would have been better.
Oh my God. Could you imagine? Or Brooklyn, if he'd have done it for the Nets.
Even the Nets.
Yeah, man.
But that's good. Like, look, shout out to Flav. Shout out to Big Willie.
Yeah.
Love you, man.
Steph, what you got, man? You got the you got Public Enemy's own 6-time Grammy nominated 64-year-old Grammy nominated musician, artist, legend, pioneer, my brother William Drayton, also known as Flavor Flav, adds one more thing to his illustrious resume. He has sung the national anthem on a national scale at a National Basketball League Association game. Like John and I said, it wasn't New York. I'll take Milwaukee. What say you?
I could give you a list of 8 singers who really, really flubbed it up. Fergie was the last one, and she literally has turned into a meme over it.
Yeah.
So the fact that he went there, and I when I saw it earlier, I didn't watch because I get embarrassed for people. Like, I don't watch prank shows or things like that because I just feel a sense of embarrassment for people, call it embarrassment by proxy. So I didn't watch. I will say he stayed, as to John's point, he stayed in tune. He did, I remembered years ago that he did say he was in the youth choir at church. And yes, he played multiple instruments, not just piano, like guitar and a couple other things too. He went for it. He did not mess up the song. He didn't take it as a joke. Not that I would care. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, you burned the flag. Oh, you didn't sing the anthem right. But he literally didn't get up there and make a joke of it.
Yeah.
I might have liked the little yeah boy at the end.
Yeah,
but
I would have loved some yeah
I
boy.
do want to
But
read
I do
his
like
tweet though about it.
Let me say this before you read that. I would have loved for him to do the yeah boy at the end. But I know why. I shouldn't say I know. I understand why it would have been
Right.
inappropriate to do
Yes,
that. So
yeah.
I got
and
you.
he
Because he took it
he
serious.
took it seriously.
He
the
took
whole
it serious,
way, so I
and
get
not
it.
doing it is consistent
Yes.
with taking it serious.
Yeah,
What's,
good point. Good
yeah,
point.
what's his tweet?
He said in his tweet, the anthem was a long time bucket list item that was fun. I can't live my life worried about what people might say about me. I won't let that stop me from trying new things and doing things I want to do. Some people might not like that, but a sure failure is if you stop trying.
There it is. Ain't no
And I did think it was cute.
I thought it was great. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J Live from NewDen Legacy and Radio. 2 comments and then we're gonna move on. Career cheerleader Cara Presley says he was himself. I loved it. The problem is others will mirror the action for views, likes versus just someone being in tune with what they want. I like that.
That's because most people on social media are doing everything for the likes.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
you
so when people see it and they assume that, it's because that's the nature of everyone chasing fame. This man is already
as soon
famous.
as he said, "Oh, say, can you see?" I knew he was serious.
being serious,
Regardless of
yeah.
how he sounded, I knew he was trying. And like I said, that was good enough for me. Jersey City's
Don't play the
own
Fergie part.
PS41 Fred W. Martin is checking in. My brother Dennis is saying, I watched the anthems and during and during after whatever I support Flav. So there it is. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy and that radio. She said good morning. She also says I have heard worse. I don't think he did that bad. We agree with her. And now we will greet her. Let's all look at the camera together and say it, y'all. Good morning, Sue. Yeah, ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy and that radio. I am about to be corny for the first time. Can I say my phrase, John? All right. Let us move on to Green Talk. You got the con, my brother. We got a lot to get to in this week's episode of Green Talk. And Damon's jumping in right behind us, and he is saying good morning, Sue. So yeah, we love that. All right, so we got some Green Talk going on, John. Take it away, my brother.
There's a lot of things happening this week that won't concern most people. And it's sad that it won't concern most people. But the Fed will announce whether or not they're going to raise interest rates. We're going to get the jobs report, and we're going to get a lot of earnings reports from different major corporations, which are going to affect the way money is distributed in the country, the way money will be loaned. And we're coming up on Black Friday, so that really makes a difference on how we spend. Most people do not realize that retailers work with a loss most of the year. The majority of their profit is done between Thanksgiving and New Year's. So when these reports and different things come out, they set sale prices, they set agendas, and with everything going online and a lot of people doing a lot of dirty business, there's a significant amount of theft, online theft with bogus gift cards and stuff like that, scams, general scam and stuff, and it messes with the economy. So I just wanted to let the people know, our people, our audience, which is majority our people, know that pay attention to these things. Most everything will be Wednesday and Thursday. A couple announcements on Friday. I think Apple and a couple other companies won't be announcing earnings till Friday. But the big news will happen Wednesday and Thursday, right? When we find out about the jobs report, what jobs are available. And see, the problem with that is we're probably going to have a lot of jobs available because a lot of people don't want to work the jobs that are available because they don't believe it's a living wage. And it isn't, to be honest with you, when you consider cost of operation, what it costs you to get to work and different things like that. But that's for you guys to please. We're coming up on the new year. When you do your taxes, please do long forms. Do not do short forms. You got a lot of deductions that you people are not taking advantage of. Work with a tax consultant. Forget about that online stuff and the quick books and the this and the quick to get the quick 1 day refund where they give you a loan check based on your refund, because they're going to do a short form on you. Do a long form. You're going to spend a little bit more money, but you're going to save a whole lot of money because there's so many deductions people don't take advantage of. Know that as a single person who lives alone, you get 3 dependents. Me, myself, and I. You get that on your tax. You read the form as you fill it out. The top part of the form, it'll say, "Are you the person that works in the house?" Yeah. Are you the person that pays the rent? Yeah. Are you the only one that lives there? Yeah. And then you add up lines A, B, and C, whatever it is, and then on line D, your total number is 3. So if you've been filing your taxes with 0 or with 1, claiming 3 on your return is going to get you a good return, especially if you do the long form. Make sure you keep gas receipts. If you pay with a credit card, that's wonderful. I always tell you pay your bills with credit cards and pay them off at the end of the month. But get your gas receipts if you drive. If you commute, get your receipts from your bus ticket or Metro card or whatever you use from your phone. In New York City and different places use their phone now. Because getting to work is not, you don't eat that. That's not money earned, right? You only pay on your earnings, only on your earnings. So money that goes out, you're not responsible for. You can get a receipt from the laundromat, get a receipt from the dry cleaner. Ladies, save your receipt from the cosmetic counters, right? These are things that you need to go to work with. Think about having an at-home business. I know a lot of people are scared of the Corporate Transparency Act. Don't be scared. Again, I'm available. Call me. I will walk you through it. Don't worry about it at all. But the part of your home that you use to work from home, if you work from home, even if you have a computer that is sometime tapped into the business where people send you emails at home that you can work on stuff, even if you're not a full remote, that makes part of your home, part of your work. I mean, you need it to get that check. If you didn't have it, you wouldn't get the check. So that means there's a deduction there. If you use your personal phone on the job, if your boss calls you, your employees call you, anybody call you during work hours on job time from the job, there's portions of your phone that are deductible. All of these things are deductions, and you can maximize your return. Remember, it is your responsibility, according to the tax code, to pay as little in taxes as humanly possible. It's your responsibility. Nobody else is going to do it for you. With these job reports coming out, I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of jobs available. Walmart, McDonald's, and other places are hiring people now at $16, $17, $18 an hour, and people are not taking these jobs. Know that jobs have a full value other than the salary. If you have a benefits package which includes medical, they consider that in the cost of paying you. If you have a benefit package that includes days off, paid time off, if you have education reimbursement, anything like that, anything that they have for you, they include that in your package. So don't think about it as just making $15, $16 an hour. Think about what that package that comes with the job is, and it changes your earning to a lot bigger number. So it's better sometimes to take that job because you need to go to the doctor, right? Because you can spend some time getting education online and they're going to pay for it because they're going to match dollars up to a certain amount in your 401k, right? And your investment. So with these kind of things and a job that has longevity in a field or with a company that has been around for a while, is a good thing to do for a minute until you can make yourself more valuable with taking advantage of some of those things like being educated. Like if you want to learn how to do things in the digital community with cybersecurity and programming and network engineering and project management and IT, anything like that that you want to do, there are courses available. They will pay for the courses. They will pay for you to take your certifications, provided you pass. And look at some of that stuff. So take advantage of some of these jobs. I do not believe that the Fed is going to raise interest rates because we're already at a point now where people are stuck in their homes. They're stuck in their homes because they got an interest rate that's not around anymore. So they want to sell, but people aren't buying because they're not going to buy. If they paid 1.5%, 2%, and now the interest rate is 4 or 5, people don't want to buy at 4 or 5. Not when you paid 1.5, 2, right? So we're having these issues. I don't think they're going to raise interest rates. And plus, we're in this war. Not to some of the cash comes in from selling these bullets and bombs. What they think about raising interest rates. So we should be good going into this last quarter. And remember, in the corporate world, nothing gets done between Thanksgiving and Super Bowl. So don't worry about it. Just relax. Just relax. We're going to be all right. I am available on social media. You can find me. You need some help, contact me. I'll help you through whatever you need. And that's Green Talk.
My brother, ain't no hashtag Marcus J Live from NewDen Legacy and that radio. Now, the comments, I've been putting them on the screen. But it is very, very pro Green Talk. They loving you tonight, bro. Comments that we've gotten. Let's see. First of all, our brother James is checking us out. Virginia Union University, so hard to be a Panther. Let's see. Our sister June says, thanks for the information. I appreciate it.
Hey, sis, love you.
She says, author charisma, dating pool diva. I'm just so glad you're here with us, sis. She says, great information, John. My sister from my stepsister, JoJo. Tell my sister Walnut and my brother Malik, I said peace. She says, good evening, everyone. Great information. I'm so glad you're here with us, sis. Appreciate you. Jersey City standing up tonight.
They really are doing it.
Ain't no hashtag Marcus J. And when we say be your own people, that goes way too. You know,
Positive and
sometimes
negative,
it
that's
really
right.
do be your own people. Thank you for the support. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J Live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. JoJo, your brother PB, your stepbrother is listening as well. So peace to you both. All right. So let us shift. We're gonna move from Green Talk right into Stephisodes, and we're gonna have a conversation about Black history. And we're also, while we're here, we're going to start with Stephisodes, but we're going to also throw in kind of at the tail end, we're going to have a conversation about internalized racism. So we'll have a break, not a break as in take a break, but we'll kind of recalibrate when we're looking to shift and focus kind of directly on that. But I want to set the tone for the next portion of the show so that everybody knows what we're doing. And we appreciate you as well, JoJo. We see your note. We appreciate you as well. Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J Live from NewDen Legacy and that radio. Stephisodes, what is the true value of Black history, and are we applying it? Yeah. Stephisodes.
We gonna be talking.
Yes, we are. What we got?
So I think it was Friday night. Clearly, I'm a real grown up because Friday night I was at home watching Finding Your Roots. It's not in the club twerking.
Say peace to Skip.
Shout out to the people who were twerking. I was watching Finding Your Roots, and I find Henry Gates interesting, Skip, because he is an educator. He brings, he exposes a lot of things. And, Finding Your Roots covers not just Black folk, but white folk. But this particular episode that I was watching was Jay Johnson, who was our former Secretary of Homeland Security under Barack Obama. He was also general counsel for the Department of Defense. As a Black man, that is high ranking, elevated positions. His story was fascinating. Like he was born in New York, in Manhattan, but his familial roots are hugely in DC. And when they went and started going further back, his family roots were here in Virginia. Significant amount of obvious slave history there. And his story was amazing. I would tell anyone, if you can catch that episode, it's streaming too. You should watch it. The bigger find on this episode, the more interesting thing on this episode was Angela Davis. And I always joke because I have a girlfriend who's super light skinned. No offense, John. Super light skinned, maybe even 2-3 shades lighter than John, who is the blackest person I know. Like, all out blackety black.
It comes with the complexion. Let me tell you.
It's clearly a thing.
Yeah, we overcompensate like so. In a big way.
Yes. However, sis is committed in the sense of works in the political field here, has led the Democratic Committee here in Richmond. I mean, just on point. No, just very, very.
That's the lady that ran for mayor, because she's super light skinned.
No, not her. And so as I was watching it, the first thing I thought, that natural feeling of Angela. First of all, Angela Davis, historic, iconic, nothing you can say about her. But I was like shocked at her reaction because her mother did not know who her father was. And she said, I wish my mother was here to hear this and how relevant it is. And it turned out that her mother was her mother's father, her grandfather was a white man, and his father was a white man, clearly. And she had white sisters and brothers that were out there, and she was the only one that was not acknowledged. She was put up for adoption. So she was never brought into any family fold other than the ones that adopted her. Now you look at Angela Davis, and clearly there is some crossover of black and white here in America in her physical aesthetic, tells you that, or would lead you to believe that. But her reaction was so guttural. She was so bothered by it because she's been living so emphatically as a black woman. She almost was like, yeah, I want to know all this stuff, but now knowing it doesn't necessarily do anything for me. And then as her roots went forward, there were activists in her family. For instance, there were 3 individuals in her family that post-slavery, their children were kept by the plantation owner, the slaver, as apprentices, unpaid apprentices. And the family tried to get those young people back and were told, you don't have the skill set to raise children. The white folks are going to keep them. Which basically is, we ain't releasing our slaves, right? And then someone in her family, a black man in her family, went to the courts. He kept fighting. He got the children. And Henry Gates said, there goes your activism. There goes your activism. There goes that thing that is within you so naturally. And it is within her so naturally. She risked a lot. Being a woman in the Black Panther Party was not easy. She had plenty of things to say about that in her lifetime. But then being a black woman who is revolutionary, and unabashedly proud and fearless in her blackness, she has not lived the easiest early life. And as they were going through it, she was more connected. She was more aware and processing. And I almost wish they would go back to her and say, well, now what do you feel? You've had months to think about it, so on and so forth. But as I was watching it, I started thinking about how right now we're watching Israel and Hamas battle, and the Palestinian people rising up, very aware of their history. The Israelis fighting back, very staunch in their history, so much so that we here in the United States, from Harry Truman forward, have been very staunch in pushing their history and the value of their history. You live in Virginia like we do, and you don't have to drive far to see people reenacting the Civil War, right? And so on. And those same people who reenact the Civil War will also proudly tell you that they are French and German and Dutch and Italian and blah, 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 blah. You live in New York City, you will meet people who will tell you when their people came to Ellis Island, and are proudly identified as Italian, not Italian American, they say I'm Italian. If a Black person says I'm an African American, we will argue amongst one another what that means. If we say we're Black, we will argue amongst one another what that means. We have a lieutenant governor in North Carolina right now, Mark Robinson, that's running, who his entire platform is anti-Black. He's running for governor. His entire platform is anti-Black, dismissive of Black history, and reductive of Black history. And it's almost gotten to a point where the voices who are anti-Black are louder. And I would challenge and say part of that is we as a people, as Black people, are more dismissive of Black history than we should be. We should know every nuance of it. For instance, we should know that walking was a luxury that slaves weren't allowed. I mean, if you think about the fact that you had ancestors that, if they were walking, were perceived as ignoring the master's need to produce. We weren't. I talked about the luxury of napping a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week. We are derived from people who did not have the luxury of walking. Walking could get you whipped, and we ignore those what we consider minute details. But if you were to ask an Israeli person, a Jewish person, I'll say that, a Jewish person in New York City, where I grew up, anything about the past of Jewish people and how and the microaggressions they face, the minimal things that they face, they could run down a list. Whereas we have gotten, I believe, into, I almost feel like, not freedom, but desegregation was bad for us. We so desperately want to be included in white society that we are dismissive of what our forebears have gone through. And it is now currently allowing a repeat of some of the things that we went through, our ancestors went through. It may be at a more marginalized or minimalized level, but it has the same impact. We're not growing financially because the same rules apply. They just are applied differently. We're not growing in our communities. We are being pushed out of communities consistently. This has been going on since integration came about. And so my question, the question I pose to you, you guys know I like for stuff to be very conversational. Where have we missed out, if anywhere, on Black history, and where do you perceive the greatest negative impact to us missing or dismissing the value of our past, of our history? And by the way, I recognize that our past is greater than slavery, but we derive from a people who are significantly powerful. To live, we shouldn't even be here based on what they went through. Forget that they bred us to death. We really shouldn't be here based on what they've been through. My 90-year-old grandmother, what she has seen, and she's living now, and what she could tell us about would have ended weaker people. And so I want to acknowledge to those listening and you fellas in the room that I recognize that the significance of who we are is greater than slavery, but you cannot leave out that it is the most significant, no different than the Holocaust, most significant negative impact on our society, and we've thrived beyond it. To ignore it and to dismiss it is detrimental. And so I do include it as a part of our survival here and our ability to thrive.
Here's the problem. Wonderful piece. Here's our problem. We have allowed ourselves to be grouped in complexion. We're not the same people. We're not from the same nations. We don't have the same history. We don't have the same. There was a regiment of Moor fighters who fought with the British in Jamaica and to conquer the Maroons that were there. If it wasn't for them, the British would have never took Jamaica. right? There were native tribes who fought with the French at one point, that fought with the British and fought with the colonies at one point, that turned the table of the war. And some reason we have removed all of our rational thinking to think that just because me and a person share complexion, that we're somehow the same. We are so diverse and so different all the way around the bunch, all the way around the board, but we still allow ourselves to be classified as a complexion, as a color. And because of that, this is why we have an issue. What Black history? It's American history and it's ours. Again, I say this all the time and y'all get mad at me. I still cannot find one positive thing that a white person has done in the past 1,000 years that impacted society as a whole in a good way. Not one single thing. All they do is lie, steal, colonize, rape, torture, marginalize, and put their name on shit that ain't theirs. And we accept it, right? We accept being told that we're Black. We accept being told that because we're not white, we're all the same. We're all slaves. We all didn't derive from slaves. It's impossible for that, right? We allow them to even take over native stuff that the treaties were done with, the $5 Indian Act and all that kind of crap. This is why we got all these casinos and stuff. Those people aren't the native people that those treaties were extended with. They wiped those people out, right? They didn't have any way of winning any war here. That's why they did chemical warfare with the smallpox. They brought that over here and wiped out millions, tens of millions of people, so that they could have the odds in their favor. And then they did bring over a lot of Black males, but not a lot of females. They bred them with the females that were here, right? And even the Black males that they brought over were not all from one tribe on the continent. They were from several different tribes. They spoke different languages. They were different people, right? And even if you think about things like 12 years a slave, all you had to do was travel in the wrong company and you could have never been a slave, and simply because of your complexion be sold into slavery and be halfway legal.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got to deal with a lot. But it starts with I had a gym of the day a little while ago, and I said, if your ops make the rule to the game, you can never be a cheat, right? Our ops have made the rules to the game. So we got to stop thinking that we're cheating and that we're doing something. No, do whatever you got to do to survive. And what we got to stop doing is accepting the fact that we're this one group of people with a dark complexion. We are not. Know your tribe is very important. Know your tribe.
Ain't no how Steppin Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy and that radio. Let me get a couple of comments in before I comment here. Dating Pool Diva says, I agree, Steph B. Although there are benefits to integration, we as a unit are suffering from it. We thrive more during a period of segregation with business and as a group of people. Uncle Late says, Staff, Langston Hughes, and integration. The urge to whiteness within the race. This fact affects our attitude towards history. I tend to partially agree and certainly understand where you're coming from with it, John, because when you think of history, I think that because our numbers are so low, what is it, 13%, I think is the number that we've all gotten used to using. The theory is let's all be together so that we would have at least that 13%, which has led to the monolithic thought of we got to all be in line and think the same way and move the same way when it comes to certain things, which we view history different. It's odd because you would think if we're going to move as a 13, then we would all see the benefit of our history. But I also agree with Steph that most of us, or most of our thought process with regards to our history, starts with slavery. Like we don't even consider often the history that came before that. You know, we were a whole people and Africa, because that's where
And here.
and well,
And the Caribbean.
yeah, exactly.
We were all over the world.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we know that Africa is the motherland. It's scientific that all mankind was originated was birthed in Africa. So it's not shocking, to understand, that piece. So I don't know, man. I would agree, and I actually agree with both of y'all on this in the sense that I think the monolithic thought process is the reason why we find ourselves here, because we're supposed to all think the same, but we don't all think the same. We're supposed to respect history, but there's so much of it. There's so much of it for people of color.
And so much of it is lies
I
that we've grown to accept over time because they keep repeating it.
I hope that Black women continue to. I hope that I'll be okay if Black men don't, but I really hope that Black women continue to do the thing that we do internally as a sisterhood, which is acknowledge that we don't often agree, but we know how to come together. I don't care that the first Black millionaire, I don't care what tribe she came from. I don't care. I don't care about any of that shit, because what is impacting me now and what I look around at my community and see within my community now is Black people having no togetherness. I think white people don't have a monolithic mind, but know how to work together, especially if they can look and see that we're coming for them
Or making money.
or making money. And the fact of the matter is, I don't care to sit down and worry about. I mean, if you want to give me a 23andMe or whatever that is, and let me see what tribe I came from, and blah 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 blah, that's fine. But when another Black woman is working to elevate herself and do the things that she needs to do, I'm not going to worry about blood or cuz. I'm going to see a Black woman.
I think we should.
I'm going to see it, and I'm going to work with her, and I'm going to work to see her do better, because I know that within my community of Black women, it's cyclical. I know the Black women in my community that I can call when I'm down and out. I know if I had a financial need, I know who I could call. I know I have a grouping of Black women now that are looking at building a community of tiny homes, sustainable gardening, and everything else that we can come together in, and exclusively run it in a way where it is free of some of the crimes that are perpetrated against us and things like that. If we sat back and I started looking at who they came from and blah, I don't care that white people called us Black.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, what's happening right now, we could go to Black Wall Street. That's a part of our history. Those people didn't say, and they were closer connected to us than we are. Those people didn't say, well, you come from the Hutu and I come from the Tutsi and I don't fuck with you. Those people came together and said, we have a very recent history of slavery, and then a history of Reconstruction, in which we didn't get everything that we wanted, but we come together and we build together. And so while I think there's always a discussion to be had, and I don't think we have enough, it's interesting to me that we can't walk and chew gum.
Yeah.
We don't have enough nuance. All of our, I don't look at the Black community and everything has to be
aligned.
and everything it doesn't for me. What I look at is my people.
Yeah.
What I look at is my people, because we don't know enough about where we came from for me to decide who I'm going to work with and who I'm not going to work with. What I can do is go, okay, this is how you move. You have a desire to be better, to see your community grow, to see it thrive, to see it healthy, to see it strong. I can work with you.
I think the problem we often run into is that we are bred to want to see each other not do as well as we are, because when you look at how often, not all of us clearly, but there is a streak in our people that sees other folks in the same demographic successful, and we snarl at it. We have a little problem with it. What he do to get that, and that frustrates me. That's not all our people, but it's a very strong lot of our people. And, it's an unfortunate thing because, we don't have the kind of grace as a people for one another that we often would have for other people, for other cultures. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like that. I don't like that. I think that if we're specifically talking about black people, understanding the point of we come from different cultures and different backgrounds, and everybody isn't African American. And we learned that lesson with Barack Obama because, if you look at him, you see a black dude. A
He got
police
treated like one.
a police officer would treat him like a black dude if they pulled him out of his car. White folks who hated on him because he was black hated on him because of how he looked, not because his father was from Africa and his mother was from America. They didn't know any of that in the very, very beginning. They just knew what he looked like. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are what you look like. So there's something to be said with regards to us wanting to stick together because there's a shared experience for folks who are like that in our country and how they're treated by the majority, nationality or race or whatever you want to call it, white folk. If you put, John and me and 10 other black dudes, in a lineup, and you can give every single demographic, but one of them is from Cameroon, and one of them is from Haiti, and one of them is from Brazil, and one of them is from Canada, and one of them is from the Far East. Because if you look at the Japanese samurais, them was black folks too. If you look at some of the old photos with some of the features and stuff with the darker color and the kinky hair in that part of the world, like we're everywhere, but nobody cares about that. So it's like, even while I'm giving my oratory on it, I feel like I'm all over the place because this is a legitimately an all over the place conversation. Like, on the one hand, we can say we need to stick together because this country don't fuck with us as a whole. It's only 13% of us. We should stick together. But on the other hand, that 13% is composed of people from all over the world who may not agree that the 13% should stick together. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm all over the place, even when I'm saying it, because we kind of are, and that's the confusion of it. Like, if you don't have some sort of consistency, you can't win. You can't win if you're not consistent with your brethren. So let me get a comment in, and John, I see you want to double dutch your way in. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J, live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio, Legacy Internet Radio alumni. Our brother Aaron Turner, Aaron Turner Show is checking us out. He's saying he is here, family, and then he is saying what we said earlier. What up, Unc? Yeah, your nephew's checking in, Uncle H.
He's on now,
yeah,
Aaron.
yeah, we sharing your uncle. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J, live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. John, jump in here, bro. What you think?
I'll say this. When I said know your tribe, I should have been a little bit better at it. I didn't necessarily mean that literally. I meant like-mindedness, right? A few years ago, my daughter had a white boyfriend, and he came to my house for Christmas dinner. I cooked and fed him, right? He's a white guy. He's a nice guy, right? But my son couldn't have brought Candace Owen to my house for dinner. She's not welcome, right? So being black is not enough for me.
All skin
right?
folk ain't your kinfolk.
I gotta be able to feel like there's something about you that I trust and that I consider. Now, not saying that one is better than the other, but I'm saying that's just a reality we need to deal with. Now, is there a reason for unity? Yeah, there's a reason for unity. The reason for unity is not because of love of one another. It's because we face the same system of racism. So we are facing the same system for the same reason. So for that reason, we need some unity 100%, as it is dealing with the oppression that we face. However, everything that we deal with, the problem is we don't have any of our own source material. We are trusting exclusively in the people who oppress us to provide us with information. And then we try to actualize and act on the information that they give us, and we accept it to be true. Like 13%, that's their number. We really don't know what the number is, but we accept it because they gave it to us. right? And we work based on that. They tell whatever they tell us, we just go okay, and nobody stops and thinks, nah, fuck y'all. Y'all oppressed us for years, and y'all still doing it. And we need our own, we need our own source for our own resource material. We need to be able to challenge them on everything, everything, to be able to put up a united front against these things, right? We're not, we can't, we got in major cities, there's a quota for getting certain amount of African Americans on the police force, right? And that's cool. Why? Because brothers need a job, right? But nobody sits down and talks to them. Say, you know, the union that you're joining. You're joining a group of slave catchers, right?
I think
you're
that
gonna be.
let me pause you for the interest of let's just discuss. Um, that sounds real cool and militant, but the reality is we live in a country where we got to have police. So why would we even say
That's not what I'm saying.
you're joining a bunch of slave catchers.
That's what they are.
So why? But okay, but
Yeah, we need police, but the whole system needs to be reconstructed.
Yeah, but while we know that,
without exception,
while we know that, what good is it going to give us by leading with that? Just talk to me about that.
The good that is served.
What is it going to serve us?
Acknowledgement, right? Because if
you're not going to get that.
Listen, if
you're not going to get that. Because let's deal with reality.
So let's deal with
reality.
Let's deal with the fault. So what you're saying is just accept the shit that white people give you. Don't fight back against it. Don't question it.
That's not what I'm saying. We're joining a bunch of slave catchers. We're talking about 2023 today, October 30th, 2023. Right. Y'all, you joined a bunch of slave catchers. All right, but we know we need police.
Right.
Okay, so what are we getting by the first part?
What we're getting by the first part is going into a situation, understanding what the situation is, so that you can affect relevant change from within.
You're not going to affect change when you go in there and telling a room full of white people, your ancestors used to be slave catchers.
Listen, there's always a way, right? Because
tell me the way.
Here's the way: through the legal system. Everything in the United States is by contract, right? Everything is by contract. So you can bring a suit against anyone and everything based on information that you have. Do your research. They have exclusive Black police unions and different things around the country, and they could take their shared experiences and bring it together and sue different forces to bring kind of change. And guess what? People in the community would support them. But we got to stop acting like we don't have access to the resources to do these kind of things, because we do. We have the information, we have the power, but we gotta stop accepting. We gotta stop accepting the language, the ideology, and when it comes to the history, we gotta question all that shit too.
Uncle H says John is saying that Black America is a colony, the internal colony thesis. Hashtag Marcus J. Live from NewDen Legacy and that radio.
All right. Well, yeah, I still think ultimately it's sometimes I'm trying my best to find the episodes that we actually going to address episodes. I'm going to do it one day. One day I'm going to do it. I swear.
Steph, I apologize.
But, it's not going to happen.
I think we talked about history.
I know what
she's
saying. I know what she. I understand her reasoning.
One day we acknowledge the need for the understanding of our history. And there are some things that are undoubtable about our history. There are sources and facts that have proof of our history. And we have an entire generation that doesn't, they don't know the basics. So they don't know recent things. I use this to be funny, but to prove a point. There are young people that don't know that LL Cool J is anything other than an actor. They know nothing about his musical history. They know nothing, which is a part of our music history, our culture, our pop culture history. If they don't know that, imagine the things they don't know. And I do think it's important at some point to really talk about us understanding our history and the value of it, because that type of thing is what is propelling the Palestinian people. That type of thing is propelling the Israeli people. That type of thing is what will have people here creating a whole new movement called MAGA. And so we can sit back and go into all these subcategories and sub conversations, but truly, Stuff is Host today for me is about pushing our people to understand our history better so that we apply the past and our experiences differently and therefore experience something different than what many people are experiencing now.
I got you.
That being said,
We shifting?
we shift.
We shifting. All right.
All right.
So here's the next thing that we're going to shift to after I read this comment. I'll shout out to our brother Reynaldo. He says you might win a battle as an individual, however, only as a unified group can we win the war. I like that. You know, I step Marcus J. Live from NewDen, like I see on the radio, kind of as an extension. And, you know, stuff is still on the table, but we're going to talk about internalized racism. And with the kind of tagline, it be your own people. It be your own people. I added that myself to that. So pick up here, Steph.
So this past week, there's a TikTok influencer. His name is Keith Lee, and really what he does is tries food from local places. He has no ill intent. Tells you whether he likes it or not. Encourages you to support them whether he liked it or not, and then asks you to, and then moves on. So he took a trip to Atlanta this week, and the customer service experience that he had was so ridiculous that most of the places he attempted to go through to, he never even got food. Couldn't call in, weren't open when they said they would be open. When he would send his family in because he's recognizable. He has 18 million followers on TikTok. He's recognizable. One of the well, I'll get to that in a minute, but he's recognizable. So he sent his family into one location. By the way, so backstory: the location said they are open on DoorDash until 4 p.m. He attempted to order on DoorDash. It said it's closed. So he said, well, family, let's drive up there. They're open until 6 or whatever. Gets up there with his family, sends them in because they are not recognizable. And they told his family, yeah, we're closed for deep cleaning, even though the doors were wide open and people were coming in picking up food. So he was like, well, I came here, I tried, didn't work. This is what happened. Customer service wasn't great. Listen, my experience here in Atlanta has been customer service isn't great. We have barely been able to try food. A lot of these restaurants are not open when they say they're going to be, or so on and so forth. But he went in after his family, and the owners tried to serve him because they recognized him. And he said, no, thank you. I want to be treated like any customer. And they made a decision not to serve my family, so don't serve me. It's okay. Thank you. God bless. He left. Well, it became a thing. There was not one place. Maybe, let's be fair, there's maybe 2 places that he went to the whole time in Atlanta where he got the service that you would expect a normal restaurant to give. And then I started reading through the comments. I was like, maybe it's just his experience. I mean, it's weird that it's happening everywhere he's going, but maybe it's just his experience. By the way, majority of the places he was going was Black owned. He does that a lot. If you have a food truck in your town and it's not doing well, Keith Lee's going to come. And once he comes, thousands of people will come. He has made it happen for people like 10 times over, where he's pushed you from, I'm not getting any customers, to we're running out of food. So he's relevant. Now, the owners of the restaurant that he went to, they posted something later that basically was like, do we even know who that is? Oh, well, very dismissive. Has 18 million followers on TikTok. The post that he made about it had like 40-something thousand remarks. This guy is known. Say what you want. Celebrity doesn't happen in silos anymore. It happens on social media all over the place. And these little influencers can take you down. He was telling the truth about the business. They responded in the most Blackish way ever. Just blackity black. Can't be criticized. Don't you criticize us. We're going to get mad, right?
Okay.
And then after that, tons of people started commenting that Atlanta is one of the worst places to go and expect service. But many people were like, if you're Black in Atlanta, they almost want to treat you any kind of way. We don't treat each other well when it comes to service. I have heard that before. I've heard, or I've been in line. I've been in line, and the cashier is black girl cashier, grinning it up with the white lady in front of me. I get up there, nothing, not a word, not a cracked smile. So someone brought up a really good point. They said, we have a lot of internalized racism. We look at black people and we see each other the way white people see black people. We judge each other the way white people judge black people. But more importantly, we apply those judgments in a very clear way that white people don't even apply because they're concerned about what it will turn into. But in the black community, giving each other poor service, dismissing each other, speaking to each other any kind of way, not serving one another, making each other wait. I can talk about my daughter's experience with, a hairstylist writing 80 different rules for getting your hair done. We are practicing we are living through the feeling of internalized racism. We don't even realize it, and our service levels have dropped with one another. We don't like to serve one another.
I think it's a matter of kindness. And hear me out with it, right? Before I go into my comment, let me shout out Jersey City again. St. Anthony High
Jersey
School
City
is
sick in
coming
here
through.
tonight.
My brother, New York Knicks fan, my brother Jalil is checking us out. He's literally, like K-Dub and I mentioned this when we talked about you before, Jalil, literally one of the smartest dudes we know. Like, he's the smartest guy we know for real. He says as a
That's
whole,
a compliment. I love that.
Yeah, this dude's brilliant. As a whole, we are relying on our oppressors to teach us about our history and racist institutions that only allows us to regurgitate the misinformation that we were taught. So, yeah, that part. Ronaldo is checking us out. My brother, PC Ronaldo, he says, no, Steph, it's not just him. That's the vibe at a lot of ATL black-owned spots, unfortunately.
That's what a lot of people in
Unfortunately.
ATL was saying. So I can't disagree with him because he clearly has had that experience. They were calling them grass wall restaurants.
Yeah.
So that new thing where they put the grass on the walls and all that in the neon sign. They were like, Atlanta serves vibes, and that's what it is. You're coming for the vibe. You want to be seen.
Yeah.
And that's
Photo
what
ops.
they're chasing. They're chasing the influence
The
of vibe.
Yeah. I did this thing, earlier in our run on Ain't Know How Stubborn Marcus J, right? I did this thing where I kind of did a mental test. I didn't write it down. I didn't go through telling everybody I was doing it, but at various times I had done a mental test, and then I will come on a show and talk about it. Hadn't done this in a long time, but I know what I did. I remember doing it, and it's pertinent to what we're talking about now. What I would do is I would speak to people, black men, black women, just speak to people. And y'all know me. What do I say when I'm greeting people? Peace, brother. Peace, sis. Peace to you, right? Good morning. That's that type of thing. Simple, right? If you fuck up good morning, it's about this. That says more about you than it does anybody else. You can't. How you fuck up good morning, right? But people was fucking up good morning. When you say good morning to people, you walk past somebody, you make eye contact with somebody, or you're close enough where you can see the person who you're walking past, their eyes, you should probably acknowledge their existence. And what I found is that half or less would acknowledge me in the same way that I acknowledge them. Hello, good morning, peace. Easiest ways to respond to people. I don't say what's up, my N-word, because you can't have love for someone using that word, in my opinion. You can say what you want about taking it back and all of that. No. Peace, my brother. And I would never consistently get what I put into that. Now, I didn't do that with white folk. I didn't do that with Latinas. I didn't do that with Asian people. I did that with our people, the 13%, not the multi-demographics in the 13% like we just talked about. Just people, when you look at them, you look and you see a black person like Barack Obama. You don't see a Nigerian daddy and a Kansas mama. You see a black dude. That's what I'm talking about. And I did not get consistent reciprocal kindness. So I know that's real. I know that's real. I know it's real that we don't consistently treat each other the way that we treat other people. I've seen it. I've been places just like you where you see the people who are bound to serve don't fucking take the job if you don't want to serve. You here to serve. Wipe the table before I sit down. Make sure I don't got a dirty glass. Put my change in my hand. Do it with a half a smile. Act like you want to be here. Because we notice when you treat other folks with this kindness that should be the base minimum, just rolling up someplace where I'm expected to spend my money. So I hear you. I understand. And the only thing that I could attach it to is internalized racism and us viewing each other through the lens of white folks who already don't fuck with us. Because we all know those black folks, particularly the elders, for this next piece that I'm going to say. Man, it's always black people. Man, yeah, was it a black dude? Yeah. We know those people who respond that way, you know? And we shouldn't hear certain things and instantly put ourselves in a position of the negative aspect of the story. White folks do wild shit too. And so do Latinas, and so do people in other demographics. So I think, John, the institutionalized racism, not only is it a real thing, but I think we do it to one another. And when questioned about it, often we get indignant.
Yes.
And that is when you will find us at our most pro-black. But we know the truth. And we know when it's bullshit. We getting a hit, social media. The pretty boy is saying you go into some of these black-owned restaurants, and you see us not doing their job and doing more playing around and BS and offering good customer service, like some of these other restaurants that don't own or staff by us. Look, you go to the hood and you are expected to buy liquor and beer through bulletproof glass. And you saying yes, sir, and yes, ma'am to them. But you can't be nice to the person that look like you, that is tasked with taking care of you. You're tasked with taking care of. I said that backwards. I'm sorry. You can't be nice with the person that's patronizing you. Come on, man. I'm not okay with that. John, jump in here.
So here we go. There's a couple things to this. And that last part you just said is very true.
I said it backwards, but
it's very. I know what you mean. It's very true.
Yeah.
But I gotta say this, as somebody who spent significant amount of time in Atlanta in the '90s and even more recently, that's an Atlanta thing, right? Everybody in Atlanta, I tell people all the time, they're the busiest place in the world that never gets shit done. Right?
And all the black people in the world want to run down there because it'll change their life.
If you meet, you go to Atlanta, yo, I'm doing this, yo, I'm doing that, yo, I'm gonna open a restaurant, yo, I got a record label, yo, I'm a designer, yo, I'm a rapper, yo, I'm a poet. Everybody is yo, I'm a, but they don't never get nothing done. It's like they spinning their wheels. So people go to these places for photo ops. They don't go for food. So the food takes a back seat. I've been to that restaurant and I know why people go. The food is not good. People go because of the owner, and you could take a picture and say you was in the restaurant, right? Then you got a restaurant that's been there for almost like 100 years, damn near, called Miss B's. It's near the two colleges that used to be segregated, you know, all male or female, and that's like right in between. It's a line. You gotta wait sometimes an hour to get food to take out, but at least they got a place where you could sit down and wait for a seat, or you could sit at the counter. It's about the size of Mama J's, maybe smaller, but they stay doing business, and their customer service, it's not the best customer service. And the only reason is I would say it's not the best customer service because they don't treat you like they serving you. They treat you like family.
I'll take that.
So they gonna talk to you like you their nephew or something.
I would take that.
Take that over.
Right.
I would take
totally
that.
bad service.
I would take that. I would take that.
So, and here's another problem. A lot of black folk get into businesses and do zero research.
Yes.
They don't know anything about hospitality and all that. They don't get degrees in that shit.
Well,
they don't go to other restaurants and study and learn how things are done. They don't even know how to put the thing. A lot of times they don't even have proper chefs. You know, they get somebody to get a food handling license and bring in Uncle Joe and whoever to do food, and the presentation is bad and food. I mean, it's just
Jump in.
it's
Sir.
Yeah.
it's a bad
As
situation.
someone who works with a lot of entrepreneurs, I'm a certified entrepreneur coach. I think one of the biggest issues with a lot of Black businesses is the lack of understanding of a system. So you go ahead and you implement, you move forward because you have enough money to open the doors. You don't have a great system. The problem becomes you don't have a great system, so you start creating rules that are to control the customer because you don't have a system. So statements like we don't take parties over this amount and so on and so forth is often because you don't have the money to really buy the amount of food you have. So your costing and buying system is out of whack. You also haven't created a system of service. So you will, this particular restaurant, it was, what was their major thing? Oh, one of their major things was you have to order all of your food. And so you're basically creating your check. Everybody at the table has to order. There are, in your order up front, and there are no substitutions or anything like that. And the check has to be paid up, at a certain point and so on. Well, that's a lack of system. What's happened is you opened a business and didn't create systems, which someone who is already in your industry. This is how Gordon Ramsay walks into a place and immediately knows it's a mess. He understands systems. People like me who have a background in operational systems for the sake of revenue. We understand systems. You've got to build your business's systems before you open the door. And typically people start with the bare minimum. I have enough money to open the doors, barely. I might have borrowed some of that, but you can see month to month they don't have the rent and things like that. They have limited amounts of food. So rather than, I always give Mom Michelle, huge amount of credit. She's running a hugely successful catering business right now after having closed her brick and mortar. And I watched her.
What's the name of her business?
It is called Minty's Catering.
Minty's Catering.
MINTY.
Here in Richmond.
Yes, it is here in Richmond.
So if they Googled it,
they will find Minty's Catering. It's a part of Mama Michelle's and Co.
You see what I just
Several
did right
of her
there.
brands. I like that. Thank you.
You see what I just did right there.
Thank you. And what I noticed about her from the very beginning, she hired me on as a consultant in regard to creating and driving revenue. There was a lot she did not need. I didn't need to do anything in regard to how she was running her business from a culinary sense. She understood pricing and costing and buying in a way that she was not going to run out of food during a day. She understood creating a menu that didn't overtax the revenue of the business. So people are coming in and saying, well, you should add this and you should add that. She didn't need a Cheesecake Factory menu. She had a small restaurant with 30 seats. She had the kind of menu that would make any and everybody come in, and she could turn tables quickly. Same thing with her catering business. But even more importantly, she would bring me in and say, I want to talk to the staff about how we serve, about how we interact with our customers, my expectations for that. There were systems built on the back end. So if you walked in, you weren't going to see the staff clowning around and doing the things that make customers think your space is unprofessional. We don't often have the business education to start with a system. We have just enough money to follow a dream.
Yeah.
But the dream goes down in flames because the systems to support it long term were never implemented. And often then we start to behave reactively to the customer. The customer calls at 4, you said you close at 5. They walk in, they're closed because your systems weren't set up properly to be able to keep your doors open when you said they were going to be open. And now you're micromanaging the customer, the people who are going to pay you. That is killing Black businesses hand over fist.
But I'll tell you this: it's not exclusive to Black business. Because I walked into
that's all he went to. So that's
Nah,
what
I
I'm
get,
focused
let me-
that's
let me-
Keith
and
Lee.
also it's
Yeah,
Let me-
overwhelmingly a part of what
yeah,
we
Keith
deal
Lee,
with.
100%.
Let
But
me-
I'm
let me-
telling you, I recently went to a business
let
here
me-
in Richmond
Let me
that's
get
supposed
a,
to be open at 12. I
hold
went
on.
in there at 12:10. You know what he told me? Yo, I just got here. I
Hold-
ain't got no food.
Hold on, bro. Let me get comments in. Social media. Our brother Ronaldo says, "My mom taught me a lesson when I was young. I live by today." Tell me the lesson, man.
Where the lesson at?
Yeah,
We need the lesson
yeah. Give me the lesson. Let's see. JoJo says she sees it in Haitian restaurants, extremely poor customer service. So
Listen, when I walk into a Jamaican restaurant, I already know.
Haitian. She said Haitian.
No, but I'm just saying.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
say this from a standpoint of Caribbean restaurants. I already know what I'm gonna get. Right? I know this lady wants me to step up to the counter, say exactly what I want, and move out the way. However, I also know the food is gonna be good. I know that they're gonna get it to me in a timely fashion. I don't have to deal with 8 problems at once.
Yep.
But I also think there is a very common, and the reason I'm not going to discuss white restaurants is they have their issues, but we're specifically talking about internalized racism and the fact that we struggle to serve one another kindly.
Yep.
That's a huge thing, and
Ronaldo.
it can close a restaurant.
Ronaldo finishes.
Thank you, Ronaldo.
Thank you.
We want to know.
Yeah.
Inquiring
He
minds.
finished his thought. My mom's taught me a lesson when I was a little boy that I live by today. Never spend money with anybody that doesn't treat you right.
Period.
So
That's an easy one.
Yeah, so
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
absolutely, Steph. We talking about black-owned restaurants, but
It's because of internalized racism.
I want to stay there with black-owned businesses, cause I try, y'all. I mean, I try hard to support my people in business, but it's really, really rolling dice, right? When you dealing with black folk, because they don't seem to understand the nuance of business. They don't do loss matrix. They don't do like, check it out. If people will come to me for consulting and ask me about starting a business, I tell them, what's your budget? You need an annual budget. If you can't keep your doors open for a year, there's no way you're going to succeed, because you don't know what your quarters are going to be like. You don't know how much you're going to make from here to there, there to there. So you don't know what your profit's like. So you trying to live off the money as it comes in when you open a business. That's not business. That's hustling.
I think that we would be. I agree with you. Let me just say this. I agree with you.
I agree with that
100% hard stop. 100%. And I don't even. I feel like I'm about to hit you with a butt, but this, I promise you, this is not a butt.
How about an
because I agree with you. But then
and?
there are those. There was the butt. I was trying to transition
all
without
good.
saying
I
but.
helped you with an and.
Yeah. But there are those who will
Still
say,
there are.
yeah. But there are those that will say, you gotta try anyway.
I do try. That's what I'm saying.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
And so in the try, even if you may not have the business plan laid out, even with the financials to go with it, if you know me, Marcus J, and all my grumpiness, I always would say, lead with kindness. When I come into your space, don't make me want to punch you in the face. Like, that shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard for me to not want to leave your establishment wishing that I had punched you in the face.
You know where that comes from, though, right?
It comes from us not treating each other right.
But it comes from frustration and aggravation.
From
Because
who?
From the
The
owner.
owner.
And the reason being, it's not what they thought it was. See, they got into it and spent their little bit of money, and things
They thought they were going to be
yeah,
rolling.
They thought it was
and
gonna be
things
something
ain't
else.
flowing
They
in.
thought it-
It
So
thought it
here
was
you
something
come,
else.
and here goes another problem, black folk.
But it's not my
Watch-
fault as the
look,
consumer.
look, I gotta say something. Consumer, black folk, customers. Why y'all only ask your own people for the hookup?
That's true.
Y'all go to the Chinese restaurant all day, don't ask for the hookup. You go for Olive Garden all day, don't ask for the hookup. Why you go into
You know
your
what it
own
is? I
people
figured it
and
out.
ask for the hookup?
You know why?
So
You know why it is? Because going back to the monolith, there's a thought process in our community
We devalue
where
one
we
another, too.
expect one another to see the world through the same prism that we see it through, and understand and accept that while it may have been hard for me, you're going to understand it, and you're going to make sure that you leave a little breadcrumb for me where you perhaps wouldn't leave it for a white person. Because black people expect that from other black people. They want to be treated special by black people for black people in a way that you perhaps wouldn't treat a white person, but in your mind you're not willing to reciprocate it. You see what I'm saying?
You ever see that Eddie Murphy thing where he gets on the bus as a white man?
Yes.
And it gets so
Saturday Night
stopped,
Live, yes.
all the black people get off,
Saturday
and
Night
all of a
Live,
sudden the
yes.
world changes.
Yes. And they
Black
have a
people
party.
Black
yes.
people have an expectation of that, right? Without any of the prerequisite of it. Right? There's no organization there. There's nothing there. There's no blueprint there. There's nothing laid out. And I would like to change the language that we use as far as internalized racism to more like internalized bigotry, because
Power.
we kind of lack the power.
The power.
Right. And when we start
But
when we start
received.
doing them things, we start creating psychological pitfalls for ourselves. It's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing in business, the way black folk deal with black folk for different reasons on both sides of the table. And it has to be addressed at some point if we're going to continue to do well in business. And that affects black women much more than black men, because y'all are opening all the damn businesses.
Yep.
I don't disagree.
I agree.
And I agree with what you said.
100%.
And ultimately, you know, at the end of the day, the sad part about it is it's a two-way street. So you don't give me good service, I stop coming in, because I'm not going to John's earlier point about not just associating for the sake of associating. I'm not going to keep coming in and getting bad service just to support you. And then and now your business is not going to do well, you know. And also, I will say this, part of internalized racism is us not believing, and I will put this out there as someone who's you know, worked as a coach and consultant, have the degrees to support my background, I have the experience. I get hired all the time by white businesses. But if I approach a black business as a coach or a consultant, the amount of hoops I have to jump through to validate that I know what I'm talking about and that I have the background to assist is ridiculous. We have internalized that we don't know as much as white folk.
I got it. I did it. You should be able to do it. You know, it's that sort of mentality where we handcuff ourselves. We handcuff each other. We don't see the advancement in your peer being a win for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's the frustrating part. Dating Pool Diva, Arthur Charisma, who is an entrepreneur and business owner and an author who's written many books. She says, as a business owner, I have the opposite problem, wanting to discount my products and services for my people, assuming they may not have it, might have it like that. We have to change that thinking as well. You know, that's a very interesting thing, because I think that as a business owner, I think what you're saying is, I realize that my people may not have the resources that other communities may have, and so I want to make sure that you have this thing that I got, and so I will minimize what it would take for you to obtain it, what it would take for you to obtain it, and charge them full, but you don't even appreciate that.
So here,
John, you don't even appreciate that.
Here's my thing. First thing,
that's a great point.
First
and
thing,
don't discount your services, Arthur.
I want to speak to what Steph said a moment ago about dealing with people, and because I'm a consultant as well. I don't have the background that Steph's have, but I do it. This is what I get from people. They have an initial consultation. We talk to them. I tell them what they need to do, and they walk away. They come back to me 3-6 months later. Yo, remember that?
Post-failure?
Remember what you was talking about? Yo, I heard about that. Yeah, I told you. Nah, but so-and-so, such and such said something on YouTube. And it's normally some white person. and now they want to know more about what I was telling them because they heard some white person say it.
You know why
So
though?
that-
I'm gonna
that-
tell you why. You
That's
know
a
why?
part of internalized racism.
You want to know why? Because white folks' ice is
It's
colder than ours.
Yeah.
Look,
100%.
that is circa day one. I've been with you, and you said that, and it's true.
It's
So
true.
so
It's
now
true.
now we have another issue. We haven't even addressed inferior product, right? Inferior product. Why are you expecting me to spend my hard-earned money and you don't have the same? You don't have equal product to the person next door. I'm supposed to go to you just because you black. I'm gonna spend my same $20 that I would spend next door, and they got a better product, and I'm supposed to buy your inferior product just because you're black. I don't think that works that way. You know, I don't think we need to do that. And far as what Marcus said about charging, I noticed from running nightclubs for 20 years, you cannot discount, because when you discount, you get discount customers, right? You get people when you cut your price, when you the lower price, you're gonna get the lower customer. When you got the higher price, you're gonna get the high. People feel like when they gotta pay for something, that it's a little bit better,
They do.
right? So you can't cut your prices. You
Mhm.
can't, because they're not gonna take you seriously, and your sales are gonna be horrible.
That's why they will buy them $250 Jordans, but they laugh Shaq and they laugh Stephon
Stephon
Marbury out of
Yeah.
the sneaker game because of that. John, you nailed it. You
Yeah.
were right,
And
100% on point. Take Steph, take the last word on this because we're gonna move to our final topic, and then we'll shift to our closing.
And specifically to author charisma. I mean, that's my background is sales. So I've worked in corporate and commercial sales, not really direct to consumer as much. But when you sit at the table as the chief sales officer in a Fortune 5 company, and I've sold everything. I always tell people paper process. I understand it all. You will sit in corporate sales meetings, and to give away something or discount something means that they already made money off of it and they just want it out. If it's a product, if it's a service, really what they are doing is more of a marketing ploy. But they do not give away valuable product or services at a discount. They know that they have a very specific audience, and you have to think about it. There's never a sale on an iPhone. There's never a sale on an iPhone.
You don't see commercials for Porsche.
You don't. You don't.
I ain't
And the
never seen a
reason
Chinese restaurant commercial.
And there's no reason.
Never seen
there's
that
no
either.
reason for when you understand, and this is something that I work with entrepreneurs on very frequently, is understanding the value of your product before you even begin to market it, product or service, before you even begin to market it, and then marketing it according to the value, not the product or the service, but the value. What's different about it? What's going to move it forward? What's going to help the consumer? And then standing 10 toes down on the pricing of it because you believe in that. Once people pay something at a discount, they never want to buy it full price.
Never again. Never again. Which is the craziest thing, but it is what it is. There's one exception. There's one exception.
What's that?
There's one exception.
Fast food, McDonald's.
Gas.
Oh,
Ain't no ass
Can't
there,
live
Marcus
without
J.
but again,
Live for NewDen
when they
Legacy
sell
the
it at
radio.
$4 and $5, or out in California at $7, the people in California aren't going, I'm not going to buy it because it's $2 in New York. They're going to buy it anyway.
That's because they got no
You
choice,
have no
man.
choice. Make your product so relevant that
Yeah.
it's hard to say no.
Ain't no hostile Marcus J. Live from NewDen Legacy in the radio. All right, so we don't normally do this type of story, but yeah, Jalil says he ain't never seen a Bentley commercial on television. That's some real shit, right? So we don't normally do this, but we had time today. So former National Basketball Association player Joe Smith, him and his lady, they got some smoke, right? And they got some smoke over an OnlyFans account. And I'll be honest with you, this might be the first time we ever talked about OnlyFans. I think this might be, but yeah, Steph and John and yours truly, we are absolutely for the shits today. So this clip with Joe Smith and his lady, We about to play it. We want to get y'all's opinion on it. Turn your ears up on loud. Listen to this one.
Wait, no. We're not gonna say fuck me or that's fucked up. It's not fucked up. Listen, it's not fucked up, and we're going to. Okay, look. So I have an OnlyFans page, and he's mad because he's just now finding out about it.
Of course, I'm mad at you just finding
But
out about it.
I'm not doing it with anybody but myself. So why should I have to tell you my choice, my body, my fucking choice?
I'm your partner. You're supposed to come to me and talk to me.
Joe, I've been talking to you about mad things. I've been asking for solutions to shit. You're not giving me none, so I created one.
That's no solution. Not in my book. That's no
You knew
solution.
who the fuck I was when you met me.
Before,
I
knew that.
thought that I would never have to go back to anything
I
like
knew
this
that
again.
beforehand,
But
but
unfortunately,
no.
that's not the case
Because after
right
that,
now.
after that, everything's supposed to change.
Everything did change.
No. Obviously, it hasn't.
No, it had to. I had
Obviously,
to do something.
It hasn't. You stood out there showing your body. You stood out there doing stuff like this on camera.
You act like that's the only thing that I do. I have mad jobs, but they're not facilitating everything that needs to be done. So I got something extra. OnlyFans be breaking me off. What the fuck?
Come on, Keisha, that. It don't matter what they breaking you off. It's the disrespect that comes with it.
What disrespect?
You couldn't come and talk to me about it.
Okay, well, we're talking about it now.
Because I had to find out on the fly.
All right, then. But now, okay.
No,
so wait.
I had to find out on the fly.
So now you know.
Yeah, now I know.
Okay. And so? Whatever. I've been doing what I have to do, period. Like, that's bottom line. That's what it is.
All right, y'all. Ain't no half stepping Marcus J. Live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. All right, so that right there was former NBA player Joe Smith and his lady, and she has decided that she's going to do her OnlyFans. I don't think we got from that clip what kind of OnlyFans it is and what she's. Yeah. There's a lot.
It's the OnlyFans you're thinking about.
Yeah, but it's gray areas there. We can act like we think we know, but we don't know exactly what she's doing.
I've never looked at her OnlyFans, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I think his deal is, and I will take the first word on this one. His deal is, yo, you doing that? Like, you why are you doing that? And you got everybody seeing this and like what's going on, and clearly he don't want the world to see it, but her position is like, this is who I always been. Like, why are you tripping? But he's like, this is saying who you is now, and he got a big problem with it. My biggest problem with this is the fact that while they're discussing it, she's filming it. She's got it on TikTok. Everybody sees he's chasing her down the hall. Not only does he not want her to do the OnlyFans, he's not happy about them having the discussion about it for her live audience, even right now. So, is she wrong for that? I'm a private person. I'm not somebody that's going to ever let my shit get that personal in public at the same time. That's just fucked up, crazy, weird as hell. Whatever combination of weirdo combination of phrases you want to string on that, that's me. Hell no. Fuck that. What are you doing? What the hell? Why now? What in front of everybody? Like, come on, sis. Like, for real. We used to come on, bruh. This is a come on, sis. Now, my come on, sis is specifically for her filming them discussing it. The OnlyFans thing, hey man, if that's what she was doing when they met, he shouldn't be shocked that that's what she's doing now. And the context of whatever their financial situation is, where she feels like this is what she needs to do to make their money. Look, that's between them and them. You know, I'm not even tripping off of that part of the conversation, because if you knew that's what she do, it's kind of hard for you to be in your feelings about it. But where you can be in your feelings is the fact that I even know about this, talk about this on my show. I know about this to talk on my show because she's filming it while they still discussing it. It's raw. It's still in the middle of their shit right now. Sis, you wrong for that. Let me get a couple of comments in, and then you two can do what you need to do with it. Jalil says married people's private lives aren't for public consumption. That's the downside of social media. Sue says, I think she wants the Will and Jay attention. Our brother, our brother B with his name on his hat. Our brother Brent from Taking No Shorts podcast. Even though you aren't officially, you are officially Legacy Internet Radio alumni by virtue of our shared love and hate and mutual affection and defection of the one and only inspiration, Jay Grizzy. The fact that we like to roast him in any opportunity that we have and say mean things about him, especially when he can't kick our asses, you and me and B, we are all for it. Having said all of that, because that was the shade that I need to throw at Jay Grizzy on behalf of you, Brent, and hopefully we are together with this, right? I rambled. So what? It's my show, as Grizzy would say, because he always says that, by the way. Grizzy always says it's my show. He always says that. Yeah, man. When he say crazy, when he say crazy shit, he says my show. That's why I said it. Homage, and he's the inspiration. He knows how much I love him. This is just a roast. The pretty boy Damon says she was a former porn star. He mad because he tried to turn a garden tool into a housewife. She's straight clowning dude and showing absolutely no respect for him and the marriage itself. All right, so we got it fully on the table. John, you got the con. Steph, you'll have the last word. What you got, bro?
So here's what I say about it. Dude, check yourself. You know who she was. You married her. You met her. You probably met her doing what she do in some other forum. You married her. She gonna spend your money while she make hers. More power to her. You know what I mean? And you gonna want her not to make her money? Nah, she ain't doing that because she don't know when yours is gonna run out or when you might decide not to give her none. So she gonna keep making her money, cash her checks, do what she got to do. That's on. However you feel about it is on you. The fact that she was doing it on the TikTok while they was talking about it, is it foul? Yeah, but check it out. She a foul person. You met her like that. Like, what makes you think that she would be different than what you gonna change? You Superman. You gonna change her. Just you giving her your love and affection and attention is gonna change her character? Nah, man. That was on you. And whatever the situation is, you need to deal with it. Cause she's dealing with it the way that she dealing with it. And I guarantee you, her OnlyFans subscription has doubled, if not tripled. And her TikTok followers have gone the same way. And is love it or hate it, there's no such thing as bad press.
It is what it is, right? Ain't no hostile market. Say live from NewDen, Legacy in that radio. Steph, what say you?
I think there's a certain thing about boundaries when you're married. And I think there's a yeah. He's not her ex-husband, he's an ex-baller. And even though she insinuates there that money's not coming in the house for her to be able to take care of things, so she went and got some extra income, I still think that you're married to this individual. There's a certain level of respect that needs to be given. And I don't know that it's a good thing that your husband finds out that your milk and cookies is on OnlyFans from his friends, from his ex NBA buddies who are texting him or whatever it is. I do think there's a certain element that seems a bit staged, to Sue's point, where he says, "Oh, now you got me on camera." It just kind of seems like it's to get us to go to her OnlyFans. I think it almost seems like they're in it together. If they're not, he has a legitimate gripe. I mean, if you know, You know me. I am, I'm like Ron Reagan Jr. on his atheist commercial. Here I am, Steph B, proud feminist. I think that a woman's body is a woman's body, but if my man was on OnlyFans and I knew nothing about it, I'd feel a way. It's not because it's his body, it's because we're partnered. We are literally married. Now, some rando, some boyfriend, somebody that's not making a commitment, do what you please, sir. I'm not gonna fight and get crazy over that. But my husband, yeah, I probably would feel a way about it. I and it's not because I have an issue with OnlyFans. It's because it's kind of like that Blueface kid. He went live on video and there with a sexual act with his new fiance. And I'm like, yo, anything really respects you and he proposed to you, he wouldn't even do that to you. He wouldn't put you out there like that. So it's on the same level to me. It's like she don't respect him. She stepped out there so far. I just think there's a different level of respect. And people, I often say this as someone who is divorced. People who have never been married don't know the type where married people take it. It's a whole different thing. And prior to being married, I might have been like, well, but when people are married, there's a different level of commitment. Men behave differently when they're your husband as opposed to when they're just your boyfriend. I would not be shocked if he was like, yo, for real, like you're on OnlyFans as my wife. There's levels to it. There's one, your wife's on OnlyFans because you ain't bringing in enough money. So you look silly. Two, your wife's on OnlyFans and you don't know about it. It just seems weird to me.
So I say this, quoting the great one. My name is Felicia. My name is Buster. My name is Tanya. My name is Buster. I know you and you know me. I know you and you know me. I know you and you know me. It's the sob story. The sob story.
Yeah.
They know each other.
Leaders of the
They
new
got
school.
married. If you didn't know what my favorite word in the English language, capable. Don't tell me about what somebody gonna do, ain't gonna do, and won't do no more, used to do, and ain't capable. What are you capable of? If you didn't know that she was bruh, if you bought a ring and got on your knee and proposed to this woman and did not know in your mind that she was capable of doing these things in the way that she did it, you're a fool. And I can't help you. I can't do nothing for you. I ain't got nothing for you, man. Like Flavor Flav said, nothing for
I
you.
ain't got nothing
Because
for you,
you're
man.
supposed to know somebody before you marry.
Ain't no hashtag Marcus J Live from NewDen, like I see in that radio. All right. So we're gonna do one more thing. There was a conversation that was had with two brothers, two black men, and there's a couple of different versions, or not versions, but clips from this conversation that's floating around. I cannot, in good conscience, promise you that we will not revisit this same conversation on a later show because there are a lot of things to respond to. But the gist of it is you got a brother and another brother talking to each other about relationships with their wives and how, as men, as black men, you're supposed to show up and perform. That's the only backdrop that I'm going to give you. I'm going to play this 2-minute clip. We're going to spend a few minutes responding to it, and then we're going to shift into our rant and into our close. Take a listen. Jump in here into the comments with us, and we'll play your comments. Take a listen.
You sitting up here, your nice house, your nice jewelry, nice cars. Oh yeah, man, you gotta do 100%. How, brother? If I'm making $14 an hour, what you expect?
I'm in the middle with it.
You still on there. Oh yeah, man, 100%. You're not a man. You're not a man. How? I'm still working. I'm still providing, right? So what makes me not a man? Because I'm going 50-50 with my woman.
And brother, I applaud you because I understand that it is hard out here, but we are men. So we have to go harder. I'm not saying or trying to speak down to you, my brother, by any means. That's the I'm not. But I want you to be reminded of something that our fathers didn't teach us, that we must go hard and that we shouldn't get into a relationship with a woman until we have direction. Who am I to tell you this? A man that's been in your position. A man that has risen above your circumstances. And I'm coming back down to say, this is what you do. You're not a man until you move like this. Most males will die, never experience what it feels to be a man and to be completely respected by his women and children because he didn't step into that true king place. Cooking everything.
I don't have her doing anything. She does it because she wants to. We in the trenches together.
The trenches together?
That's what we in.
Brother, do you know anything about emotional abuse?
Explain it.
Emotional abuse is when you pour all your hurt and pain onto a woman, and just because you can't see her scars, you think it's okay. If I had a conversation with your woman, she'll probably start crying. They tired. They not built to go through what they're going through with you.
That's a fact.
She didn't choose you to struggle.
But again, who are you to say
That's
that?
A brother that loves you. And again, I'm trying to give you the cheat code. If you put yourself in a position, right, you work. If you have to get 2 jobs.
Well, I'm not a man. If I'm
And hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. So that conversation was a snippet from a wider range conversation where they talked about a lot of different pieces of the same thing. So John, you up first. What do you think?
It's complex as well as complicated, which are different things. It rings out different in different demographics. Personally, I'll say this. I want to be wanted, not needed. Right? I will do for you in a relationship everything I can without failure. You'll never have to. But I want to know that you can. Right? Because I don't want you to be with me because you need to be with me. Right? You got to want to be with me. And if part of what it is you're with me because of what I can do, the way I can do it, and how I could provide, then it's a whole nother different dynamic. Now, going 50-50, like I've never asked a woman to pay a bill, pick up a check, or do anything like that. But again, if I'm the head of the household and I'm doing it, we're doing it under my dynamic, and you're gonna either accept it or not accept it. But if you want to do more, I'm not gonna stop you. I'll 100% match you. Like I've told women this before, we can go check for check anytime you want to go. And if you're gonna outdo me, trust I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna match you. Right? So if we got a home and the home is $350,000 and you say, well, I want to live in $1 million house, I'd be like, all right, you come up with 500, I got 500, we could do it. But if I'm the one paying for it, if my budget says 350, then that's what it is. If you love me, if you want to be with me, you'll do that. If you want to be in $1 million house, and I tell you, I meet you halfway with 5 and 5, get the 5, we put it together, and we got $1 million house. Right? That's how I feel about it. It's a sticky situation because of societal norms and unrealistic expectations based on what people see. All this illusion bullshit, all this confusion and distraction with people wanting things outside their reach, right? Looking at lives that aren't real and thinking that they are real and feeling like they could live that way. You probably won't, right? I don't know how many young men pick up a basketball or dribble versus the 350 so people that play in the NBA. And most of them don't got a lot of money. Ask Joe Smith. Most of the people I know who make money make more money than NBA players. It's not. The illusion is real. It's about 50 or 60 of them that do, past $10 million annual, right? So this whole idea is kind of it's a conversation that we kind of need to have, but I don't know. I can't say that it isn't part of a continuing distraction on the systematic destruction of the black family, which came about during the civil rights movement when they realized that the black family had power. And this is how we were allowed to get the civil rights movement off the ground and sign it. That's a definite reflection of the black family, the father, mother, husband, wife, children in a family, house of worship, whatever the situation was. That group has power. And the powers that be will go to any lengths to try to destruct that power format and platform. Um, there's enough blame to go around as far as I'm concerned. But personally, I was always of the mindset that there's a time in my life I had a dollar amount. I wouldn't come out the house without that dollar amount in my pocket. Because why am I outside? If I ain't got X dollars, then I don't need to be outside. I need to be figuring out how to get more money. I'm definitely not going to pursue a relationship with a woman and I don't know without any doubt that I could support her, me, and whoever comes along with her and me by myself. If I can't do that, then I'm not gonna I'm not going into the room where that takes place unprepared. Right? I'm gonna be ready. But again, expectations is where you find heartbreak. Don't be expecting it. Just accept it and be great and be grateful for it. And let's work together in whatever way we can work together. It may not be monetarily. That 50-50 doesn't always have to mean dollars. I could bring in all the dollars and you can give 80% of the love and support or whatever that gets me into getting the dollars, right? Whatever the hell, whatever it is, it's an arrangement and agreement to work together for the betterment of the unit. That's how I feel.
I think I understand where you're coming from. I dig that. Ain't no hashtag Marcus here live from NewDen Legacy Net Radio. Our brother Brent says it sounds like to me he's saying if you can't afford 100% of the bills, you're not a man. If you have to put in together to achieve a better life, that works for me. If it's 50-50, 70-30, 80-20 at days, we are elevating the family. But if we can swing 100%, I'm going to. But you will be willing to get 100% of me. I understand where Brent's coming from. I tend to agree with him. I think we find ourselves in a space where we're looking at a combination of today's reality and traditional values when we have these conversations. Traditional values would say, the man would take care of the financial obligation and the woman would take care of the family obligations at the home. And while that may work for some, doesn't work for everybody. I grew up in a household where my mother went to work, my father went to work, and they both share in the household duties. That's what I grew up seeing. When my mother was unavailable to do some of the household stuff, we didn't miss anything because my father did that stuff. My father knew how to cook. He made sure that we ate if my mother wasn't there, and that sort of thing. And that's what I grew up seeing. So that's how I kind of grew up leading my family. If you look at today's world, today's demographic, the reality of the average middle class family having one person, and I say one person for the purposes of making a point, one person shouldering 100% of the financial load just isn't the reality that many people see today. So we talk about leading. You got a lot of folks that are, man, he doesn't lead. Okay, he didn't pay all the bills. You lead. Like, you can say that if it's what you need for your life. That's what you need for your family. When I hear those two dudes talking, if you the dude that is financially able to take care of 100% of the financial stuff, hey, man, I'm with you, because I promise you, most men And I'm speaking to the people who I know personally, including myself in this. Most men, if they were able to, based upon their demographic and their circumstance, if they were able to take care of their family 100% without sending their wife out to work, they would. But that just isn't reality for some folks. And I understand the brother who was like, yo, I ain't a whole man because I can't take care of everything. Like for real, I'm not a whole dude. So what you need to do is that guy who can't or shouldn't or doesn't want to or what have you, you need to have a conversation with your partner and figure out how the family can be whole. Because I agree that it shouldn't be 100% about the dollar, the money. Maybe it was in previous generations. It ain't like that now. For the brother that's got 100% of it, hey man, rock on, bro. I'm glad that you do. But I don't know that dude walking around next to me every single day, sitting in the same bar that I'm in, sitting in the same yoga class that I'm in, moving in the same circles that I'm in. I'm supposed to think that every single dude that's in them spaces is a deadbeat along with me because he ain't got 100% of the bills at the crib. That's crazy. But you shouldn't have her looking crazy at the crib doing everything there. Like there needs to be a full partnership, and you can attach whatever percentage that works for your family 20-80, 30-70, 60-40, 50-50, whatever it is. It ain't for me, John or Steph, to say how it goes in your house. But if you are someone who's looking at my house and saying that my house ain't working and you don't know, mind your fucking business. Like for real. Marcus J ain't no dude because I could tell he don't pay 100% of the bills. He ain't a whole dude. What's his wife thinking? Like, no. Marcus J ain't a whole dude. I got everything in my crib. What's wrong with him? Like, you don't know what goes on here. I don't know what goes on in there's two men sitting there having a conversation. I don't know what goes on in their households. All I know is what went on in that 2-minute clip. So I think we spend too much time putting our values on other people and expecting other people to move in a circle that we will move in. And this is not a one size fit all type of conversation. That's what I think about this. Ain't no how Steph Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy and that radio. Steph, what say you?
I agree. It's not a one size fits all. I thought what was interesting about that clip, and we always talk about, well, women and men, we can't talk, and that's why things don't get resolved. Men and men can't talk. They were having a hard time in that conversation. It was one point where the brother said to him, "Do you understand that a lot of times Black women are dealing with emotional abuse?" And instead of him saying no, because that was the real answer, he said, "Explain." You don't know. It's okay to say,
I don't know.
I don't know. He couldn't do that. He couldn't. And also, listen, I don't want to be in the trenches. I don't, if that's how you're describing a life with me at my big old age, I don't want to be in the trenches. I can be in the trenches alone and usually better off. Now, do I think that it's always a 50-50 and this, that, and the other? No, 90% of Black women do not live a lifestyle that reflects that. As a matter of fact, Black women, married Black women, are in households where they have the highest share of women headed households when it comes to economics. 52.5% of Black women are the primary financial providers in the home, married. Whereas for Latinas and white women, it does not even cross the 40% threshold. So while we're having this discussion and people might get in their feelings about it, the fact of the matter is Black women may want that, but 80% of the time they're not getting that. 2 in 4 Black women are not experiencing that in the least. Most of the time they're in a position of guidance. Now, where I have a problem is it is not unusual for someone to approach a woman, and I say someone, I mean men, and be interested in her and ask qualifying questions. Do you cook? Can you cook? I get that all the time because I don't walk around with a ring on my finger. The assumption is immediately I'm single. Yes, but still. And if a man is interested in me, he asks me qualifying questions that have nothing to do with him, except for the fact that he's looking for someone to take care of what he considers his primary needs. I want you to cook, I want you to clean, I want you to this, I want you. It's all of these household things that my grandmother did. And when he's asking that, he's considering that as my duty, as my role. Most men are not treating the household like it is 50% of their responsibility. They look at it as I'm helping. And then the wife is in the position of being the directee, the director, and you're the directee. Hey, can you help me with the dishes? Hey, the children need this. That's not 50-50. And the majority of the time, women are not experiencing that. What they're experiencing is they do go to work and they do bring in 50% or more, according to the noted statistics of the household income. And then they are pulling 80% or more of the household weight. And so there's no true balance because she's doing what he's doing and the things that he would consider helping in the home that he lives in. You're not helping, you live here. It's not helping when your wife has children and you're supposed to be doing things.
You can't babysit your kids.
You don't babysit your kids. These are your kids. You're not, if she has to ask, you think you're doing her a favor. It's problematic. And so while I think every household gets to set themselves up a certain way, the unfortunate thing is that now a lot of women are recognizing this guy is not going to do what my grandfather did for my grandmother. And he's also going to expect me to do 100% of what my grandmother did. And there's no balance there. The scales are not equal. I hear it all the time, not just Black women, white women too, where they are managing the household. They're the ones who order the groceries. They're the one who go get the groceries. It's a running list. And most men, if they're honest, would admit that their wives are doing 80 to 90% of what keeps the household running as an efficient business, because it is a business. And he is simply going to work. So you now have a lot of younger women who are like, I don't want to do 50-50 with that dude financially because I'm also going to do 90% of the household things. And that's where I think a lot of that discussion comes from. Now, what I will say was, dude was super defensive. If you're making $14 an hour, what the other man was saying, well, then maybe you're not in a position to have a wife and children because they require more than $14 an hour. And I think that's a fair thing. If I were to meet a young woman who told me she only makes $14 an hour and she wants to have a baby, I would say that's not fair to the baby. If you want a wife and you are a man, a man that is worth your salt, you got to know what takes care of families and what doesn't. And $14 an hour does not support a family. And he made the point in another clip where he says, well, you get a second job. And he also said another thing. He said, being a man is hard. It's not going to be easy. And there are elements of being a woman that are hard. It's not going to be easy. But we don't get to shirk those things. We don't get to go, you know what? It's freaking hard to be somebody's mother and they calling you from school and the kids have an ear infection and they have this and they have that. Oh, and I'm making more than my husband too. Let me not do the kid thing. I'm sick of that shit today. I ain't doing it. But it's okay for this guy to be like, I make $14 an hour. We're in the trenches. The guy said she didn't marry you to be in the trenches with you. That's not what she did. While you're in another clip, he's like, yeah, she cooks. Yeah, she cleans. Yeah, he was very proud of all the things she did. And I think when someone like you are saying it, Marcus, and you're married and you know the things you do to keep your household stable, to take care of your wife and daughter, it's a very different thing than the guy who's making $14 an hour. And, Michelle used to say, I don't want to be down with you. I want to be up. If being down is where you are, why are you getting married, sir? It takes more than $14 an hour. So if you go out there at your $14 an hour, and by the way, I'm firm in telling women my experience of dating a man who doesn't have, he's an angry man. He's not going to love you properly. He's not going to see you the way he needs to see you. You're going to do all these extra things to make him feel better, but he is already unhappy with himself. He's not unhappy with you. He's unhappy because he sits next to Marcus J, who makes money to take care of his family. And so he knows he's not doing what you're doing. And then he comes home and takes it out on sis. A broke man is a broken man, because you guys established the parameters of money and wealth and cars and all that other stuff. You all did that. So much so that you kept us out of the workplace for a long time to make sure we couldn't get ahead of you. He said, it's your parameters.
Yeah.
And so live up to your parameters. And again, I'm not saying that that means we have to be 50-50, but if we're going to be 50-50 financially, we better be 50-50 everywhere else too. Do not expect that I'm going to work as hard as you in the house and out of the house. And you get to talk about your wife cooks and your wife cleans, and because men are very good. They are very good at marrying well, much better than women. They don't go off the emotion. A man will be very confident in identifying it. He'll leave the big booty girl he was dating and marry the serviceable girl he met because she does things his mama did all the time. And he'll follow the big booty girl on Instagram all day long. But he married the girl with the flat booty and marginally attractive, who cooks and cleans and this and that.
Y'all better listen to stuff because
I mean, it's the
she
truth.
dropping jewels. And yeah, she's dropping jewels.
And again, I just want to say this. I don't agree
yeah,
that it makes
that's a
that
jewel.
he's not a man. Now I'm a woman. I probably don't get to jump in that part of the argument. I do think it's unfair because everybody gets an opportunity to build up.
Yeah.
And if I meet someone and they're like, look, if I was younger, now at my age, if I meet a man my age, he should have his shit together. But if I meet someone, if I was 20 something, 18, 19, and I met someone and he was like, look, I'm trying to get this entrepreneur thing going. I'm working hard. I'm trying to do this, that, and the other. I need you to stand beside me. And I had to work a little harder to support his vision. And then the vision actually came through because I saw his action. That's different. But in our 40s, what are we doing, sir?
No, I can dig it. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. Pretty Boy says these ain't the days of Ward and June Cleaver. If you have somebody that has your back truly, they are going to be right there with you in those trenches, making sure you both get ahead and succeed. These dumbass Real Housewives shows have completely fucked up what it means to have a true partner in your corner. We need Adrian to our Rocky more than we need Cardi and Todd. Candy and Todd, I'm sorry.
I don't disagree with that
Who
part.
or whatever. I'm just saying in my opinion. And then he says facts FB with a bunch of fire emojis. So he's co-signing
Still out
what
here
you
on
saying.
the market, Damon.
Yeah.
Still here. Bow intact.
Ain't no
What you
half
got?
stepping
What
with
you
Marcus J. Live from NewDen Legacy of that radio. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch that one.
got?
Yeah, ain't no half stepping
No
with Marcus
offense to
J.
Dana's lady.
Live from
If he
NewDen
got one.
Legacy.
Look, I
of
don't even
that
care to
radio.
do the research.
Yeah.
I'm just shooting my shot.
We have a little fun, like but I've been the brother in the middle of all that shit in the past.
You said no more.
I'm rolling my eyes, and to quote Roberto Duran, no mas,
No mas, right?
no mas.
I do agree with
Yeah.
him though. And I say this to women all the time, and I don't watch these shows intentionally. I say it to my daughter. There's nothing worse than living your life through reality TV. Half of those women end up divorced. They don't have the things they're telling you they don't have. If you have an awesome, awesome man, stick with your awesome man. Do what you got to do. Work together.
Ain't no half stepping. Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy and Radio. We will transition, leave it right there, and move to our final vestiges of the show, where we rant, where we close, where we do our moment in Black history. And for the last few seconds or so, I've been showing you all the photograph of tonight's featured moment in Black history. And here is where I will read the card. Born in Mississippi on a plantation, he was the son of a farm worker, and his early life was marked by poverty, hunger, and racial prejudice, experiences that formed the core of his latter work. Negroes are my people, he said, in accepting the Spring On Medal in 1941, and quote, "And my writing, which is my life and which carries my convictions, attempts to mirror their struggles for freedom during these troubled days," end quote. From his first stories collected in Uncle Tom's Children to the celebrated novel Native Son and the autobiographical Black Boy, he created provocative works of lasting influence. He broke ground for other Black writers, including Ralph Waldo Emerson and James Baldwin among them, and was, in the words of biographer Robert Felgar, quote, perhaps the very first writer to give the white community explanations and themes that cut through its prejudices and forced it to look at the reality of Black life in America, end quote. Born 1908, transitioned 1960. Tonight, we support, we salute, we highlight the brother Richard Wright. Richard Wright. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J. Live from NewDen. Richard Wright. We appreciate this brother and we thank him for his contribution to our Black history. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J. And before I even said his name, Uncle H dropped the name in our feed, Richard Wright. So thank
We
you,
are
Uncle
lucky
H.
to have him.
Uncle H, yeah, man.
We are.
Yeah.
We're really lucky to have. I really, this is when I talk about, when I mention the history of things, it's because we have elders like Uncle H around who have experienced things that we're fortunate to not have experienced, and who can do exactly that thing of telling you that that's Richard Wright. That's lost. If you had read that quote and it wasn't someone like Uncle H on there, I don't think many people would have come up with it. So I have a huge respect for our elders. I was raised by my grandparents, and these are just. I'm worried that when they're gone, we're gone.
Yeah.
As far as what we know and what we learn, I really appreciate you, Uncle H. I really do.
Yeah. Thank you, Uncle H, and thank you, Steph, for your kindness with the elders. We had a conversation that we'll need a table for a later show where we were going to talk about Gen X and how we perform with our children versus how baby boomers perform with us, and we'll table that. But you kind of touched on it a little bit because Pops J 1942, so that's the generation before baby boomers. That's the greatest generation, I think what they called them, or the silence before them
is before,
but the greatest generation is them. And just talking to him, I was I'm fortunate enough to be with him, and I'll share more about this in my rant later on, but I was able to sit with him, and just when I get to talk to him about experiences that he has had that I can't imagine, it's a blessing. And Uncle H is a little younger than he is, and so I appreciate that. Uncle H is saying, "Thank you, Steph, getting my flowers while I can smell them." Yeah, Uncle H. Yeah. See, that's why. That's why. See, you made it. I was making a face while you was making a face. Yeah, Uncle H. We love you, man.
Yeah,
we
and it was
love
authentic.
You, man.
You really do inspire.
You have no idea. We talk about you all the time.
Just
Yeah, we love you. And
sorry, Aaron, you out. He got new nieces and nephews. Okay, we'll share him.
Yeah. You can have your uncle. You can have them.
We're gonna keep
but
them
we're
too.
gonna take a piece too.
That's right.
Has Steph Marcus J Live from NewDen Legacy in the Red. Let me get these missing children in. Give the con to John so he can say what he wants to say, and then he's gonna give it to Steph so she can say what she wants to say, and then I will close us out when I say what I want to say. Tonight, we are looking for Keon Darius Henderson. He's missing from Chesterfield County, southern piece of here in the Cap. 15-year-old Black male. Keon may require medication, and he may be in the need of medical attention. If you see Keon Darius Henderson, please contact Chesterfield County Police Department at 804-748-1251. Also, simultaneously, we're looking for Kimani Ayana Jackson, missing since October 26th. Henrico County, which is the western, north, and eastern portion of us here in the Cap. Kimani was last seen on October 26, 2023. She's 14. If you've seen her, please contact the Henrico County Police Department at 501-5000. Let us recap. We're looking for Keon Darius Henderson out of Chesterfield. We're looking for our young sister, Kimani Ayana Jackson, out of Henrico. If you've seen either of them, please contact the National Center for Missing and or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.org, or contact them at 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-843-5678. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. So this is where we go through our affirmations. We will read all three of our affirmations before we go to our rants, because 2 weeks ago I forgot mine. And so I ain't trying to do that again, because I was embarrassed about that stuff. It's my feelings, and I felt the way because, you know, two people did days and the person who's leading the show forgot to do his. Kind of person am I? Personality flaw. I'm a terrible guy. Yeah, I know. That was me doing a lot. All right, John. Take me off this soapbox. Kick me over. Let me fall on the ground so that I can stop and you can continue. What you got?
Today I am persistent. Today nothing will stop me from accomplishing my goals. Nothing will stand in the way of my happiness.
My man, Steph. What did the universe say to you?
Today, I believe. Today, I will see the miracles and love surrounding me.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I love
that
that.
ties into my rant.
I love that we do this because I know it's helpful. I know it is. I know it is for y'all. You know, speaking of y'all, can I speak to y'all for a minute before I read you my affirmation? We love y'all. We really do. There is no
For
way,
real.
no way I'm doing this 12 years if I don't fuck with y'all. There's no way that John and Steph would have joined me before we even reached 10 if we didn't love y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, the combination that you see here is the longest combination that I've ever had on this show. We do this because we rock with y'all. Y'all rock with us. Share our shit. Share our shit. It's not hard. The little button that says share right next to where you clicked on to watch and listen. Share it. Really. Like, I'm asking you to share it, because if we are going to do what we said we're going to do, if we harken back to a part of what we talked about earlier about how we should support and history and all of the things that goes with it, like, we really should be in a position where we're looking to advance and push ahead one another. So y'all think we are great, because I know John is. Y'all was blowing up the feed when he was in Green Talk about how the information was so great and how it was so necessary and all of this shit, right? And y'all love Steph because every time she's talking, I get the fire emojis, and everybody loves the fact that she's so strong and all of the things, right? And I'm just here. I'm not gonna put myself over. All I'm gonna say is share it. Share it. Because if you like it, someone else might love it. Today, I am powerful. Today, I know that I have the power and the wisdom to accomplish everything I choose to do. That's what the universe said to me. Shit's true. Ain't no ask Steph Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. John, you got the con. I like / love your hat. What you got, bro?
Thank you, bro. Thank you, Steph. I'm gonna deal with first a little bit of what we talked about, right? We talked about the importance of understanding Black history and so on and so forth. How about this? And hear me out, folks. I don't want to deal with history anymore. I want to deal with our story. We need to know a little bit more about our story, because his story is bullshit. Also want to deal with my jewel of the day. It was simple. It said, you know, everything that's supposed to happen will happen, but only when you make it happen, right? I need you all to stop. I hear people all the time talk about what they praying for, what they doing shadow book work for, what they doing. Nah, none of that shit. Unless you ready to put it into action and get behind what you doing, ain't shit happening for you, man. And you can get lucky. There's a lot of lucky people out there. Don't get it twisted. People get lucky, but you probably not gonna get lucky. So you need to put in the work first on yourself and then put in the work out in the world in order to accomplish your goals. And that goes for everybody, but I'm specifically talking to my people and y'all know who y'all are. And we know it's hard. We know things ain't fair. We know what's wrong. We know what's going on. I mean, things that are easy are often not very good. And the best things usually require a lot of work and a lot of discipline, right? Even as I sit here tonight and do the show with you guys, I mean, and for you guys, like you would have no idea of what I'm dealing with, what Steph's dealing with, what Marcus is dealing with on a person. You have no idea. But we fight through it because we feel like one, this is something that we want to do. And two, we feel a certain responsibility to the community to provide reasonable conversation on things that has the diversity that we provide without being without tearing each other apart, right? We're trying to what part of what this show is we're trying to show you all that disagreement doesn't mean hatred, right? You can love people all the time and disagree, and that's how y'all grow. I tell stuff all the time. Since we've been doing this show in this group, I've grown so much to have such an understanding of my own personality, of who I am, and understanding uh, the very thin line between chauvinism, right, and toxic masculinity, and chivalry. Like that's it's real. Like come on, like it's a very thin line you got to walk. But if you don't even know there's a line to be walked, what are you gonna do? We suffered through a lot, and Steph often says that to black women, black men are the white men to them. And the sad part is, you say that to most brothers, they can't even process that to hear her, right? When she said it to me, I began immediately to process it, to understand it. And then it's not about my agreeing with it, because it's hers, but it's about me processing it, understanding it, and knowing what I can do to hopefully be able to change that feeling or that perspective or add something to society that can make that different. Because if she's saying it, she's not the only one saying it. Right? That's how the majority of our women feel, and that's bad. I once got blackballed in the entertainment industry because I had a button on that said respect and protect the black woman, and I meant it. And I didn't want to take it off. And when somebody questioned me about it, it should say respect and protect all women. I told this white woman at the time, I'm sorry, but white women are not my concern. Only black women. Y'all got y'all men. Right? I got blackballed behind that. So again, put the work in on yourself so that you can put the work in the world, so that you can make yourself better, so that you can help improve society. And that's my closing.
And hashtag Marcus J Live from NewDen Legacy and that radio. Thank you, John. Thank you more than you know. Your wisdom and your leadership is absolutely received, respected, and I hope you understand how relevant and appreciated that you are by me, by Steph, and by them. So thank you. Thank you for what you do, bro. And hashtag Marcus J Live from NewDen Legacy and that radio. She ain't never late. She ain't never too late. She's here and she's checking in. She is my sister, she is cousin Terry, and she's checking in. Late, but I'm here. Love you all. You ain't never late. The fact that you're here backing up your little brother is good enough for me. So tell my auntie I said, hey girl, hey. Steffi, yeah. I like you.
I like you too.
I like when you just give us the authentic what it is without apology. Take it or leave it. Authenticity. We talk about how it ain't got no competition because it doesn't. And you always make sure that you say what needs to be said without apology. And that's a skill that many of us don't share.
I appreciate that.
So you excel in an area that many of us don't share. So I appreciate that. And I'm just so glad that I get to hang out with you like this. Thank you for being my sister.
The feeling is mutual, brother.
You got it.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you for the excellent green talk tonight and encouraging green talk. Marcus, as usual, thank you for being an excellent showrunner. Like Shonda Rhimes over here running it, and I appreciate
I
it.
can't even step into Shonda's shoes.
Well,
She is
we
a
come in and it's ready to go, and I appreciate
No, I don't
that.
assault my brother like that.
I
Marcus
appreciate
is an original,
Oh well,
unique,
but
unique
hey,
component.
if he had to
It's
be on that
there's
level,
no
it's a level.
listen, there's no comparison. It's just
Okay, okay.
what he
That's what you
does is
say.
different.
my man. I appreciate
There
it.
you go. All right. So my card said, I'm going to repeat it because it said, today I believe. Today I will see the miracles and love surrounding me. So I know we had some tough talk with folk today about how we do one another and how we love on each other or not. And I want to encourage my people to resist trauma in the face of love. I've had experiences. I think people deserve love. I truly do. Um, and if I've allowed you into my life, I believe that you were a lovable person. You are capable of receiving love. And what I have experienced, just personally from time to time, is that people who have experienced trauma often are resistant to their lives changing through love. And I know that is a common thing for many Black people where we don't feel deserving of it, or we have been so mistreated at some stage in our lives that when love is being issued, we often are resistant to it. Um, Negative about it. It destroys relationships. I know for me, it's a destroyer. It's hard for me to come back from that demonstration or resistance of love or kindness or well-being being demonstrated to someone. And I've seen it. I've seen it many times. And I'm really encouraging people to see the miracles and the love surrounding them. I When you acknowledge it, it brings more into your life. When you resist it and reject it based on your own trauma, it pushes it away. You can see people resisting love and how it tears them down. You can see people resisting love, it puts them in a worse position. And then not being able to acknowledge that that's where they are, is in a resistant space where love is concerned. And it's important. It's important. We are not a people that are universally loved. People love our culture, they love the things we do, they love the money we can make them. They love all of those things, but they don't often love us. And so within our culture, when you're receiving love, it's important to acknowledge it. It's also important to acknowledge the people that are giving that to you and returning it. There's nothing worse than the love you're exhibiting, whether it's um, offering someone time, spending time with them, offering them time in your space, whatever it might be. There's nothing worse than it being resisted or rejected simply because the recipient can't see beyond the trauma in their lives. And I will tell you that my willingness to see that I'm being loved is just as big as my willingness to see when the love is not being given. I can see both of those things. And this week I had, you know, hadn't been feeling great all day. Michelle showed up at my house with salad and fruit salad and all, just kindness out of love. I called my favorite uncle. He's offering kindness out of love. I attempted to do the same, exhibit a kindness of time and energy to someone through the weekend. And they resisted in their actions or their behaviors. They may not have realized it, but they resisted it simply by not showing up. It is often difficult for people to stop what they're doing during the day or during their lives when they are so busy to offer love to someone that's outside of their immediate circle, not living in their home or things like that. And if you find someone is doing that, I will tell you it's important to acknowledge it, to receive it, because all it will do is bring more into your space. And if you find that you struggle with receiving and accepting love based on your own traumas and where you've been in your life, I challenge you to seek therapy because it will clear up your space. And there are clear examples of the people in this world who have been without love. I mean, we could go as deep as someone like the Unabomber. People who isolate themselves typically turn into people who are ultimately dissatisfied with everything. Don't resist the love that is coming to you in the forms that it comes to you in and from the people that are offering it. Because when you see it, it surrounds you with additional love and it brings more to you. And that's my rant.
Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. Cousin Terry says, Cousin John speak. Steppin Brezin, that's me. Brezin, I love you. I'm waiting on Steph. Give it, girl. She wrote that right before you started talking.
Thank you, Cousin Terry.
Allowed to receive our love. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. It's funny. I've been vacillating all night on where the hell I wanted to go with my final thought. I'm just full with the understanding of prosperity and love being paramount in what we do. There's so much hate and negativity in the world. Turn on the television, like there's no shortage of it. From people deciding to roll up in bowling alleys and restaurants and shooting it up, killing people and taking the cowards way out and taking themselves out, or other ways of showing cowardice and hatred in the world. And I just don't want to live in that. You know, it's easy to say, you know what, I'm tired. I'm not going to do the positive thing today. I'm just going to retreat into a negative spirit. The whole world is in it. Hell, you still got people thinking Donald Trump would be a good president. You admire yourself in the lowest form of humanity because I think that's what you are if you think that guy would be a good president. But I just don't want to do that anymore. I live in my own grumpiness. It is what it is because the world is hard, but I think that we can all spot somebody that has a good heart. I think we should band together. We should stick together. Create the world that you want to live in. K-Dub always says that. I quote him on this show often. We can find ourselves miring in the nonsense. But when I saw the people in Maine and when I saw the people in Mexico rallying behind each other in the aftermath of the hurricane that they had down there that took out a whole resort, or when I see the people in Palestine coming together and working towards advancing each other, in the most dire of circumstances, that to me is the truest form of humanity. Working towards helping one another, helping towards giving each other a chance, loving one another. It has to be the way. Maya Angelou, and I'm gonna blow this quote. I know I am, but she said a lot of stuff. One of the things she said, when people show you how they are, believe them. Maya Angelou, genius. But one of the other things that she said was, I seen a lot of hate, and this is a paraphrase. I seen a lot of hate in the world, but I never seen it solve nothing. We got a lot of hate in the world, and all it ever seems to do is make shit worse. But for the folks who choose to love people or choose to help people within the length of your own purview, can't do for what another person needs more than what you have within yourself, but any extension of that is better than the alternative. Always lead towards the positivity. And the elders used to tell us all the time, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, then don't say nothing. I think that's important. And I think that the running theme for me now at this stage in my life is, it's not like I'm an old dude trying to get into heaven. I promise you, that ain't it. I'm not worried about that. But I'm worried about our own souls, man. I'm worried about why we leave folks hanging when we don't need to. Like, it's not hard to show kindness. It's not hard to say good morning. It's not hard to show someone a little piece of heaven in every opportunity that you have. So I'm going to continue to do that when I can. I'm a Gemini, so you may roll up on me and I may not be in the best mood. I may not pick up the phone when you try to call me, but I promise you, I promise you, I trust my heart and I know I'm a good person. The Lord knows my heart, and that's just good enough for me. It's going to have to be good enough for you. That's my Marcus's unrelated rant. It's got nothing to do with what we here talking about tonight. That's the end of the show, y'all. I want to remind everybody that independence is the key to building your legacy. Also want to say peace to all of the stars and all of the squares. In the abundance of water, the food is thirsty. Those are the words of Bob Marley, who you hear singing in the background. Authenticity has no competition, y'all. We celebrating 12 years on the show. And because he is the pretty boy, one of my favorite people on the planet, Uncle H is co-signing what he said. Damon's getting the last word. Jules dropped all night. All y'all fire tonight. I think that's an appropriate way to end it. Ain't no hashtag Market J live from NewDen Legacy, and that radio will return. Not tonight, in the later show, one day soon, occasionally on Mondays, when we feel like it. We love y'all. Peace.
Oh yeah. I'm with this, with me. I'm just gonna lay back and I'm gonna drop some smooth lyrics. So tune in 7 to 9:30 and don't be late. About to set it straight. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Word. I'm ready. Let's go. Ain't no half stepping, that's the name of the show. Yeah. Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah. Hunters talk sprinkle with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you want to talk about, call and we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With you flowing this show, bring the heat. Yeah. The word on the street with the Earl on the beat. We suburb in the beat like a city online. Okay. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, my brother. Yeah. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. Brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, we full force. And listen up, this Marcus J start to talk, running back. He been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, we full force. And listen up, this Marcus J start to talk. You know how Steppin is the name of the show. Stay hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunters talk sprinkle with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you want to talk about, call it, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the beat, legacy online. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half step with Marcus Day, my brother. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. My brother so smart, plus brother got style. We on the mission before course. And listen up, it's Marcus Day start to talk.